Welcome to the Beyond Bitcoin Whaletank. Our Whaletank Hangouts start every Friday at 3 p.m. Universal Time. Be sure to follow the Beyond Bitcoin tag on Steemit, as well as our Hangout host Official Fuzzy for the latest Whaletank updates. To participate in the discussion, simply find the weekly Whaletank RSVP post and RSVP with a topic or proposal in the comments. Loveshares creates synergy between BitShares and Steem by rewarding developers and helpful community members. The Whaletank has already distributed over $70,000 in upvotes during its first month. You can also create and trade your own cryptographically secure whale tokens and get an automatic seat in the Whale Council. Whaleshares work for the chain based on votes by the community. If you're interested in becoming a founding member of the Whale Council, let us know by sending an email to beyondbitcoin@gmail.com with the subject Whale Council. Be on the lookout for our new forums coming soon.
Welcome everyone to another Beyond Bitcoin Hangout. This is the Whaletank Hangout, and this is episode 220. Today is Friday, August 18th, 2017. And we have a lot of different projects that are not necessarily new to the audience that are joining up to give updates on their projects. But we do have a few that have joined up today that would like to talk about various things, or would like us to talk about various things. Now, with that said, during these hangouts, we have something called power-ups. The first power-up is that if you have a token, you are able to increase your chances, your voting weight, in terms of how high you, if you're first, second, third in the order of the different projects within these hangouts. If you have a token and you just provide the link, you will double your voting power in terms of your position in these hangouts. So if there is somebody who has a bunch of extra upvotes, might be at $14 and you're at $8, but they don't have their coin, the link on the BitShares Dex to their coin posted in their RSVP, on the RSVP thread, then you will double and go to $16 in terms of being first. So you now are first in front of that person. This is one thing that we call a power-up. And having your own token enables you to power up a couple things. There's another power-up that we have a 15-minute cap on how long somebody can speak about their project and give updates. This 15-minute cap is put in place for obvious reasons, because we only have limited time and multiple projects that want to be covered. So you are able to utilize those tokens to share drop them on the guests at these hangouts and buy extra time, up to a 10-minute allotment, for the time to talk about your project. Now, with that said, there's a third power-up, and it's kind of tied to a bonus that I have every week for these hangouts. Not only do we pay the same amount of Beyond Bits that we earn in dollar amount on Steemit. So last week we earned $379 on Steemit. We matched it with 379 Beyond Bits and gave them out to the guest speakers. But we have a 1,000 Beyond Bit bonus to my favorite project that joins up every week, out of the ones that join up. And if you believe that you would like to be that favorite project and you were not chosen, you can leverage your token to behind the scenes try to get that 1,000 tokens from me. Now, with that said, obviously if you have a token on the BitShares Dex, this is a very valuable thing for you. And I will say that it is interesting that not many people actually have posted their link. So I wanted to really dig into it and let you guys know one more time. Make sure that you post your link if you have a coin, because it improves your chances of being first. And that is, we are trying to do this to empower you, to give you an incentive to create your own coin and play with the value propositions that you can add to create value to it, right? We're trying to build a community of community builders. And you are all here to help with that. And you get paid well if you impress us. So with that said, the order that has been established by vote this week is going to come first with Gridcoin, and that's going to be Custom Miner, who's going to be providing updates on that project. We will then follow it up by CryptoCrush, beta testing, and that'll be Mr. Wang and by Compound Films. After that, we will cover Community Casino, and Bethella will be covering that today. Following that up will be Loveshares at Love Abby. She will be following that up. Afterwards will be BuildAWhale, covered by the Marky Mark, followed by Steemit Gaming, and that's Chief Mapster. After that is going to be Looking for Niche Coin, and that will be Robin Hutt. And then Nutella is joining us to talk a little bit about Descent and a potential synergy between Steem and Descent. And then we are going to have Crypto Spreadsheet by Gregario. And we will also have, at the end of this, a special guest who's going to be talking about another project called the Smoke Network. And they got on here a little bit late, but I want to just make clear that they are a pretty interesting project. And I've spent a little bit of time looking at all of it, and it's pretty interesting, to say the least. So I'm very interested in all of these projects, but I think you guys should all stick around to the end. And with that said, I want to thank all of you for helping with these Hangouts. I want to ask all of you to consider these Hangouts a gold mine of ideas that you can grab from intelligent people who are thinking about solutions in this space. You can grab their words here. You can post them as highlights from these types of discussions from people who have been spending a lot of time in this space. And you can earn funding by doing so. So I would urge you guys all to consider doing that and always consider how helping others can help us build something bigger than we individually could ever build along this way. But with that said, I'm glad to be able to help you guys, and I look forward to seeing what we all do together. And I will stop with my sappy stuff, and I'll get Custom Miner to step up and talk about Gridcoin because they were the first upvoted today. And I will say, consider adding your coin because someday somebody might be first place in front of you because you forgot that link.
All right. Hey, how's it going, guys? So I'm Custom Miner from the Gridcoin Community. A little bit of information about Gridcoin and BOINC. So Gridcoin is a cryptocurrency which securely rewards BOINC computation on top of proof of stake, right? So what's BOINC? BOINC is an open source volunteer distributed computing platform which utilizes the spare resources of hundreds of thousands of computers around the world in an attempt to cure diseases, map the Milky Way, search for extraterrestrial life, and virtually any other kind of distributable computation, right? So anyone who needs a serious amount of distributed computing power, think hundreds of thousands of CPU cores, pretty much almost entirely for free, can create a BOINC project to create a distributed cloud service of their own desire with fairly low effort. Whilst the Gridcoin community, the Gridcoin network will reward your project's volunteers on your behalf once you're whitelisted, if you do get whitelisted. So you get free computing power and the Gridcoin network will pay your users. So, whereas our competitors will have you pay up front, which is counterintuitive. So I'll be discussing some topics today, a giveaway of Gridcoin, some trading information, some information about the community, development, and yeah, that'll be what I'll be talking about. So start off with the giveaway. So I've sent $100 worth of Gridcoin, open.grc, to Fuzzy on the for distribution on the BitShares network. So that'll be for anyone that's attended and anyone that's speaking. So enjoy. Moving on, with regards to trading, in the last week or two, Gridcoin has been trading at approximately 3 cents USD, slightly under at the moment, but that seems to be our floor. Gridcoin is currently listed as rank 41 on CoinGecko, and when you filter coin market cap by non-pre-mined / non-mineable, Gridcoin is ranked 52nd. With regards to Gridcoin's community, Team Gridcoin, the BOINC team, has now achieved the first place ranking for all-time historical BOINC computation. So it's taken Team Gridcoin approximately 3 years to catch up to the last 2 decades of completed BOINC computation. So, we're a massive team and we're crunching, several orders of magnitude more than some of the teams in the top 10. So we're quite big despite the low market cap. Likewise, we've also increased our Formula BOINC ranking significantly. We're way ahead in the lead, so it's pretty good. Despite our slightly reduced market cap, we're continuing to observe a growing user base within the Telegram, Slack, and Steemit communities. It's great to see new users constantly, both investors and crunchers, people that have been crunching BOINC for over a decade coming along and being like, oh, this is cool. Whatever. We've also got a new chat room on WeChat for the Chinese community. Do please join that if you know Chinese or if you want to interact with our Chinese counterparts. It's pretty cool to see them getting active. In other news with regards to the community, the 2017 BOINC workshop has been announced. This is going to be held in Paris at the Institute for Astrophysics. It's held on September the 6th, 7th, and 8th. So it's being attended by many key BOINC members, people that run BOINC projects. It'll be incredibly valuable for the community and for BOINC's future development. So I'll be attending that. If anyone else wants to attend, it'll be cool to see you there. And we have also continued holding our Gridcoin Community Hangouts on a fortnightly basis. This is inspired by Fuzzy and the Beyond Bitcoin Hangouts, and I think we're coming up to a year since we began doing them. So it's our 37th Hangout. It's on the 19th of August, aka tomorrow, at 9 p.m. British Summer Time. So compare your time zone with the link in my RSVP post, and the RSVP thread itself still needs to be created, so don't worry about the post not existing. Moving on to some development news. So straight out the bat, let's talk about some security issues that were raised. So a team of security researchers published a paper on the security of Gridcoin, and it was presented at the Woot 2017 UCNIX workshop on offensive technologies several days ago. So just some background. So there was a slight breakdown in communication, which led to the security researchers publishing the paper without the full development team's awareness of the issues they'd found, right? So they kind of kept to themselves to a certain degree. So we're changing the official website to improve the ease of reporting security issues so that, there isn't a breakdown in communication in the future, and we'll better handle these scenarios in the future. So the issues mentioned are they demonstrated the ability to steal BOINC rewards. Basically, someone is crunching a certain amount of BOINC work and they were able to direct the rewards to themselves. So this vulnerability was discovered separately by one of our own developers and patched prior to the release of this paper, so it's not an issue in production at the moment, so you don't have to worry about that. The second issue they raised was the hijacking of beacons. A beacon is a user's registration transaction that confirms that they are the owner of a BOINC identity, right? So we've reduced the ease of performing this attack in several of the recent leisure updates before this paper was released. The attacker does still have a small window of opportunity to steal a beacon. However, it's only when your beacon expires. So it's once every 6 months, and we hopefully plan to eliminate the need for beacons in the first place. So hopefully we can just bypass this, attack vector entirely by removing beacons potentially in the future. The third issue, which is actually the most probably the worst to a certain degree, is the ability to extract users' email addresses from the blockchain. So unfortunately, this is still present to a certain degree. We hope to remove the poor code in favor of more secure code in the future. Whilst this isn't great, the team founders did have access to the list of emails in the first place, unless you explicitly hid it, of which 99% of the users did not. So these email addresses have been somewhat public to, the core admins for a while. It's just that now your email can be grabbed from the blockchain to a certain degree. So, step up your anti-phishing defenses, and I sincerely apologize for the leaking of email addresses on behalf of the Gridcoin community. So it's worth reading the security paper. It's very high quality. It is slightly behind in terms of how fresh it is. Several of the attack vectors that they describe were patched, a month or two ago. And what's good to take away from this is that one of the main researchers has joined the Gridcoin, community and was it Slack? Yeah, Slack chat room. So, we're ongoing back and forth with them, and hopefully we'll bring them into the community as developers, possibly in the future. So moving on. With regards to superblock issues that were mentioned in the last couple Hangouts, so basically a superblock in Gridcoin helps track BOINC user statistics, which we use to base the reward mechanism upon. So the problem during July was that we encountered several superblock issues which interrupted the reward mechanism. So after several leisure updates in the last month or so, we have significantly improved the stability of the reward mechanism and the superblock generation mechanisms. And we are continuing to investigate additional improvements which will come with a mandatory upgrade in the near future. And just some updates regarding the leisure updates that I just kind of mentioned there. So we've got fixes to syncing and startup crashes that some users were experiencing. We've got improved RPC commands, additions and enhancements, multiple GUI improvements. This is an ongoing effort by the multiple users. Some dependency upgrades, so OpenSSL, some C++ stuff being upgraded to latest versions. Improved translations for Lithuanian, Russian, Swedish, Chinese. Some overflow protections, some removal of unnecessary code to make the code base clean and improved thread safety. Reduction in CPU utilization, so more computing power goes towards the BOINC projects in the first place rather than, the Gridcoin client. Likewise, multiple ongoing staking mechanism improvements are being developed and, the ARM builds have been optimized so it's easier to build the Gridcoin client on ARM devices, like your Odroids and stuff. Finally, the Gridcoin developers are working on new features such as the improved staking mechanism, which is named V8. If anyone's interested in helping out testing this new staking mechanism, please do head into the development channel on Slack and run a testnet node and see if anything goes wrong. We are working on an improved beacon and email security mechanisms regarding the recently published Gridcoin security research papers. We're also working on improved GUI and branding, as well as the introduction of auto tools for improved Gridcoin builds. And finally, the removal of the mandatory team requirement within the Gridcoin network. So that's everything I had to mention today. Some of them are quite important topics. So does anyone have anything to ask regarding, the trading community, the development, or Gridcoin, BOINC in general?
I did have one question, Custom Miner.
Sure.
About the process involved that you highlighted when discussing about the security research paper, and that you were discussing that there was actually a change that the community was taking in terms of improving the communications. Could you add any more about that? About either what was problematic and or what was an improvement?
Okay, sure. So the main problem was that we had the contact us link on the Gridcoin website directs to the contact@gridcoin.us email. This email is only handled by Rob, the lead dev, so it's basically contacting an individual rather than, the core development team, right? So there was some back and forth discourse between Rob and the security researchers, which led to one of their main vulnerabilities they disclosed being patched at one point last year, basically improving the CPID mechanism. However, the subsequent emails between Rob and, the security researchers, the communication broke down. Basically, Rob was very busy last year with real life priorities and stuff like that, like a kid, whatever, and basically the security researchers took the lack of response as like significant due diligence, and they just crunched on with doing their research, rather than trying to reach out. And I mean, fair enough to them. They're focused on their research and they're like, we got some juicy stuff here,
Sure.
So what we're changing is that when you click contact us, it will take you to a separate page where we'll basically have like, all right, what do you want? Do you want to just contact the community? Do you want a secure, security issues reporting kind of process, basically, pointing them towards the email, but also towards, informing them to contact like the admins either through, Telegram, Slack, IRC, what have you, so that, had the security researcher reached out on Telegram or Slack, basically, hey, can I talk to an admin? No doubt we would have had a very in-depth conversation with these guys, and, the tone would have been different. Currently, if you go on the white paper, it is very much like, the developers don't care about security and stuff, and that's certainly not the case. It's just the case that communication broke down between two individuals, and the community at large didn't have the opportunity to get involved, which is unfortunately where the kind of issue arose.
That's helpful to know. Thanks.
Perfectly stated. Because most times that's what happens. It's a communication error.
Certainly. Any other questions?
Well, real quick, G-Chicken would like you to expand on the removal of mandatory team requirements and what that means to explain it like I'm 5, essentially.
So the mandatory team requirement basically means that only Team Gridcoin is eligible for earning rewards, right? Whereas there's over 100,000 BOINC teams, right? By removing the team requirement, we potentially face scaling from, we've got 12,000 registered users in Team Gridcoin with about 3,000 registered on the blockchain and probably another 3,000 within pools, right? Growing from that to hundreds of thousands of active users and potentially the millions of registered users. So, it's a matter of how do we store 100,000 users in a daily super block? Also, how do we make sure that the calculation of who's owed what, and that isn't too taxing on the client, so it doesn't, take resources away from BOINC. Likewise, we don't want to accidentally DDoS the BOINC projects by, scraping them too much. If we've got 100,000 people running the client, theoretically in the future, we don't want 100,000 people downloading a 100 meg file every day. It would crush some of the project servers. So it's basically a matter of scaling back how many people are responsible for the superblock creation process. Basically, it's the downloading and processing of the BOINC statistics for the reward mechanism, whilst, expanding the Gridcoin network to the entire BOINC community. So, we are getting towards there. It's just that in the last month, and the next month, there are higher priority, development issues developments that we are working on. Once a couple mandatories are out the way, upgrades that is, we will be focusing on the scaling and removal of the team requirement. That way we will cease to be a team cryptocurrency and we will be a BOINC cryptocurrency, so we'll remove the hostility between ourselves and the BOINC network. At the moment, the rest of the BOINC network to a degree sees us as a competitor rather than as a mutual kind of beneficiary.
Yeah. But it's largely been because, am I correct in saying that it's largely been because you kind of have to start out a little bit more centralized to ensure that things move forward in a reasonably structured way, and where, you can deal with the attacks or the any big things that come along instead of being like a disorganized herd of cats not sure what to do. You have to almost have that kind of process into moving into decentralization of the entire, and a protocol being in control of the entire thing, essentially. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, to a degree, we have limited our growth, right? But it has given us the ability to work upon improving the client so that, when we do focus on growing to the entire BOINC community, we are in a more production ready and secure states, so
it makes them easier for them to use it.
Certainly, we don't want every single BOINC user to run like an old client version or whatever and get put off. We want to have them run the client, and it'll be sleek and perfect and stuff.
And somebody asked for a URL link for the BOINC projects, and I recall you guys have like a bounty page. And you also have a list of whitelisted projects.
Yeah, I just linked you there. So the whitelist is just basically a voted upon list of projects that the community wants to reward users for, right? So if you create a BOINC project, you've got work being distributed and it's secure, like you've got HTTPS enabled and stuff. All you need to do is make a thread in CryptoCoin Talk and basically put a vote up. Thus far, projects don't really have a problem getting whitelisted unless they don't have SSL, so free computing power will reward your users, guys, And yeah, the tasks, we've got like over 100 tasks for the community to work on if they're interested.
Well, you know what I always like to boil it down into. If no one else has anything, I'll say this. Finding aliens. If anybody is a newbie and they want to care, and they care about anything that's connected with Gridcoin, I don't know of a single cryptocurrency that pays you to help try to find aliens. So I'm just going to drop the mic on that and let you guys do whatever talk. Yeah, and the Enigma. That's a good point, G-Chicken. To crack the Enigma codes from World War II is a pretty dang cool project too. It's actually pretty stunning.
Some of these projects do have a really important and altruistic kind of aspect to them. I mean, what if you are the one to solve a work unit which proves the existence of aliens or first contact, and Gridcoin's one of the first names out there in relation to it, that'd be crazy in the mainstream news. Likewise.
It would worldwide.
Yeah, likewise, if your work unit that you complete on like an old 2-core computer that's gathering dust helps solve AIDS or Ebola or detects an asteroid coming towards Earth which we deflect because of your computing power. These are some very important things, and to a degree it is a bit of a lottery whether or not you're going to solve a work unit that does contribute heavily towards science, but it's possible, and we reward your effort in doing so.
You guys should create I'm going to keep saying it, you guys should create a big bounty for whenever somebody finds aliens, they'll get 20 million grid coins. Whether they're good or bad, because we have to identify it. What if we have a real life alien, we have to fight aliens and defend ourselves and Gridcoin saved us.
Or,
early.
Yeah, certainly.
found an old ship in ice in Antarctica, re-engineered it and created a bunch of fleets to defend against them with their old technology.
Well,
anyway.
Hopefully in that situation, the aliens will be interested in using Gridcoin or BitShares,
Yeah, let's hope that it's trade. Let's hope they come and and the guy goes, yeah, I found you guys. I got 20 million of these GRCs. I'm going to fling you guys some. Yeah. And that is the end. That is the end of your 20 minutes today, man.
Thank you very much.
How do people reach out to you guys if they would like to talk to you about finding aliens or doing any of the other amazing, cool stuff that they can do with their extra computational resources on their computer and earn grid coins for?
Check my RSVP post. Everything I've spoken about today has, detailed links. Check us out on Cryptocurrency Talk, the forum. We've got gridcoin.us, our website. We're on Telegram, WeChat, Slack, Mumble, obviously Discord, everywhere, so we're spread out everywhere. And everyone's welcome to come and join. Thanks.
Happy first year anniversary on your Hangouts too, man. I'll throw that in there and give myself a couple seconds. Really quickly, I'm going to give everybody the link to sign up to today's guest book. The magic word today is going to be aliens. I suspect they travel through time though, but we won't talk about that. We do have another pretty cool project and a duo of guys who I've been pretty impressed with watching all the stuff they're doing and how stubborn they are too, and making sure that they continue getting up and keeping going on. All right. Well, I think everybody has had the time to do so. If you check that LTM box and you do not have a lifetime membership, unfortunately, I will not send any tokens to you. I will just keep them. And I don't want to do that. I want to just give them to you. So please, if you do not have an LTM, a lifetime membership on BitShares, consider getting one and substantially increasing the tokens that you receive from the share drops in here. And I will go ahead and give you guys the floor now. Mr. Wang and By Compound Films, aka That Boy Meta. I will step back and let you guys talk a little bit and give your 15 minutes.
AKA the future president. What's going on, Fuzz? And good morning, everybody.
Hey, man. Well, you guys know what you do best. I like to step back and let you step up and give an introduction, maybe a little bit of everybody's heard from you in the past, but for those who haven't, maybe who are tuning in new, just a little summary of what you guys do and then get into the topic for today.
Okay, no problem. We'll keep it kind of short and sweet like always too. So basically the last time we came on, we were talking about, a video game that we're developing. It's called CryptoCrush. It's like a parody of, Candy Crush, but, with cryptocurrency coins, and we've included, Whaleshares, BitShares, Monero, Bitcoin, Ethereum, all kinds of coins. And today what we want to do is we want to go ahead and, give everybody the link. That way they can go ahead and download the alpha version. And what we will be doing is we'll be offering bounties for people that find bugs and report them. That way we can speed up the process to release the beta version. And, the cool thing is that we'll be open to, an opportunity with anybody with a coin that wants to, involve their coin in our games, or the cartoon that we're about to put out. We're halfway with the first full length episode. So that should be coming out ASAP. And I predict that I'd say in about another week or so, we'll have the link to, the Amazon store, so you can download the app on your Amazon devices, and also the Apple App Store, and also
Nice.
the cartoon. So you'll definitely enjoy and the cool thing about the cartoon is that the cartoon, goes with the game. And I play the voice of Bitcoin, and of course Mr. Wayne, he plays 100 million voices on there. So I can't wait to show that to you. Mr. Wayne, you want to throw anything in there?
Yeah, man, it was definitely fun working on that cartoon, and on top of that, we're over here casting, actual talent to play some other voices as well. I've linked. I went ahead and put up some of them links.
Oh yeah, so Mr. Wayne has just posted the link in the comments. So if you want to go ahead and be one of our testers and try it out and play the game and take it off the lot like a brand new Bentley, you're more than welcome to try it out and let us know what you think. And like I said, we're very excited, because it'll give us an opportunity to include people's coins in the cartoons, and also include like a narrative and maybe a backstory. That way people can, personalize with your coin, and maybe we can attract the 25 and under demographic. That's really our aim, to attract the 25 and under demographic. We're learning that demographic is very familiar with all the new technology, and, the less you have to explain, the better decisions you can make. Anything else you want to throw in, Mr. Wayne?
Oh yeah, he was saying earlier that the cartoon and the game are, it's our 1-2 punch. It's a package, but at the same time, one's family friendly and the other one isn't.
And if I don't see nobody's grandma playing this game, I'm gonna be highly upset. So like I said, the link is in the comments, and let us know. We're on Steemit. I'm on there as By Compound Films, as the same thing as my screen name, and Mr. Wang, he's in there as Mr. Wang. So, get in contact with us if you want to create an opportunity. I plan to take this cartoon thing all the way to Netflix. I think it could definitely be something in the future, either Amazon Studios, Netflix, YouTube, or whatever the case is. But I definitely have I have high hopes for this cartoon. And I don't know if Mr. Wang has a link, so that way you could just kind of just take a look at it, just to kind of get an idea. We're kind of vulgar on there. So it's kind of like that cartoon Family Guy. It's going to be some crazy ass, I don't even know if we can curse on here, but it's going to be some crazy shit.
You can.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have our idea is kind of like a mix of like Robot Chicken, Family Guy type of comedy. And the other thing, I see all this as potential to educate others who don't know about crypto. And that's this is like the best opportunity to do so, by creating a game that, families can play, and then, reaching out with the adult humor and stuff like that by, using, crypto and the information, current events of it, and putting it into a comedy series, and putting it out there for people who don't know about any of this to learn about and get curious.
Definitely. And I also want to throw in that, yes, this is the first game, CryptoCrush, but it's not the only game. There are 3 other games currently in development. So, like I said, there will be plenty of opportunity, plenty. And I'm just glad to be able to be on a platform like Beyond Bitcoin to tell the whole world. And I can't wait to even use the cartoon and the games to attract, more chains to come in here and let us know about about what they're working on. And I just can't wait to tell the world.
Yeah. And this is what everybody wants. Y'all, we want to reach out to them people and let them know, hey, come check this out. This is your gateway right here. This is the gateway. This is the future, man.
Hey, Nutella, he says, what kind of asset do you need? Explain that a little bit. Cause it's already, I guess the link is already in the comments as far as the Android version. It's already ready to go. And like I said, the game will be on the Apple App Store next week or so. Explain that a little bit, Nutella. Oh yeah, Fuzzy's gonna be in it. Fuzzy is definitely gonna be in it. For damn sure. And it'll be funny because in the cartoon, they live at Coinbase. It's, the main characters are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. And eventually they do go over to like Bittrex and they usually, and it'll be funny. They usually, they're going to visit Poloniex, it's going to be really, really funny. And they're going to go over to Steemit and see what's going on. And they're going to confront all the tokens.
I think of BitShares as being a guy or who's always like hitting on the different girl coins.
Yeah, trying to give them beer and pills.
Come here. We can chill. I protect you, right? Well, he might not get the girls. They might run away from him because sometimes that's what happens with BitShares. I ain't gonna lie. You got to tell it the way it is, man.
They say they run away. Well, we're gonna make Loveshares look good on there, for damn sure. And everything we're working on. So, I just want to see if anybody has any questions.
Yeah, Nutella asked, you mentioned opportunity, so what kind?
Okay, well, the opportunity is very simple. You contact us, give us something of value, and we give you something of major value in return. And that is, an opportunity to participate in the game and the cartoon. And put it in front of a big audience, because on YouTube I have a little over 4,000 subscribers. I have a connection with Netflix. So like I said, I'm glad to have brought this here to be able to, invite those that want to create an opportunity. And then, hey, let's go to the moon, like Tesla,
Well, I think what's amazing and what the opportunity is here with some of these other chains that are going to be popping up, like even things like the Smoke Network. I mean, imagine if your content, some of it goes on that network too. So now you're able to make from all these different networks.
All tokens welcome.
That'll exactly. Make some potheads really laugh when they watch this animation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you would actually, like, there was something in the early days that made no sense, except it's kind of cool to think from a historical perspective. You would have altcoins, and you would have something called Potcoin, and they tried to let people pay with Potcoin for dispensaries, but it didn't work. But something like a Steam-based kind of, they call it mutual aid society, as MAS is where it came from. The concept that Bytemaster, aka Dan Larimer, said was mutual aid societies, and that's the model that these types of things follow. So you actually have a community that has a very powerful coin potentially here. And it would actually have legs, is my point. It connects to dispensaries, and now you have a coin on a talk show, on a little cartoon show that's humorous, and for just like the over 18 crowd. You know what I mean? The people who are allowed investing in cryptocurrencies anyway, right? Okay. But it's kind of a very interesting thing to think about, though, to put those coins in there and to have like a representative of the community, like a Rasta hippie or something,
Oh yeah,
right?
And also I wanna throw this in there because I know I didn't mention it. Now, Smoke is gonna be Smoke. You'll definitely get a feature because I got Smoke on the Open Legend. Thank you. But I wanted to throw this in there too. Remember, we will be rewarding people for finding bugs, and we have, Lil Wangs and Beyond Bits and Mr. Wang, let them know what other, cash and prizes we have for them.
We're going to be offering, bounties for any bugs that you find, that you can report to us or just even participate in. We're going to be offering Little Wangs, Wang Change, Beyond Bits, Loveshares, we want to, reward you guys for, helping us finish this product and getting it, just perfect, to put out there.
Oh yeah, let me throw this in there real quick, Mr. Wang. And not only are we going to reward people for finding bugs, we're going to reward people that want to contribute. Hey, we need background music. Hey, if anybody has, can help us create like sets, like backgrounds, you know what I'm saying? Like to help, like maybe kind of do some cool things for Coinbase or can someone design, a background for when the coins visit Steemit or just, anything.
That's what Nutella was asking about.
Literally anything. Everybody has like if you might be somebody who makes bracelets that look pretty damn good. and they have beads that are customized, you know? You could have something that you like doing that adds value, organic value.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what we want to do. We want to feature you guys, give you guys a chance to shine in this.
And if we run out of tokens, don't worry, we'll send you turkeys to your house on Christmas and Thanksgiving.
You got a turkey farm. You keep leveraging that, buddy. It is capital, I'm telling you. One of these days, turkeys are going to be a currency.
Oh, turkey coin. And shout out to, I don't know how to say his name. It's Vib. What is it? I guess the graphics guy. Vivver?
I call it Vibver, but I don't know if that's what it is.
I'm gonna call him Vib. Like I said, they said you do great, graphic design work, and you're more than welcome to showcase skill to the whole world.
Well, I look forward to seeing all that stuff, guys. Your bounties and all of are you guys going to be posting these bounties to Steam, or is it going to be a website, or is it going to be both? How do people get to those bounties?
Mr. Wayne, go ahead and let them know.
Well, as of right now, we're going to be posting the opportunities and, of course, the link to download the game. As far as claiming these bounties, we could actually explore setting up a dedicated page. And right now, at the moment, as I mentioned earlier, we have Mr. Wing.io that, we could possibly use. Or we could do it through Steemit somehow.
What we could do is we'll do it through Steemit. We'll be posting things, and I know a lot of people in here follow me, and a lot of people in here follow Mr. Wang, and if not, then go ahead and press that follow button now. We'll be posting stuff, and then ultimately, I'd say in about a week or so, we'll go ahead and we'll do something like cryptocartoon.com or something like that, and we'll make it real easier.
The one thing though that we need to consider is somebody who does find a bounty that reports it, we don't want somebody else to come around and say they found it. So we have to figure out some sort of method of communication, I guess, so we can.
Yeah, or just, or post a screenshot link. But definitely, do follow us, hit us up on, on Discord or Steemit. And, like I said, we'll definitely get you your reward. Any other questions in here? He said turkey bounty.
Man, there's so many good ideas that when you think about it, people joke about it and we laugh, but there's a coin with a dog face on it and it's worth a lot of money, guys. So take it as you will, but I will just say, it's an important thing for us to probably remember that these coins can have a lot of value to people, even though we joke about it. Maybe perhaps because we joke about it. But I guess you really have covered it today. We're about 10 seconds out, and I don't know if you guys have anything that you feel like you have missed, but obviously you will have the opportunity at this point in time to share drop on the guest list if you guys want more time. But if you don't need more time, that's up to you guys as well. However, if you've already covered, how to reach out to you. So that's pretty much what I ask everybody to close it off with. So I guess with that, we'll just leave it with, do you need more time for today?
No, that's pretty much it. We like to keep it short and sweet like a Jolly Rancher. And, we look forward to, having a lot of testers for this game. And like I said, Philosopher Stone, hit us up on the Steemit and we'll find a way to communicate, send you the phone number, and then you could call us up like a 1-900 line. We'll get you taken care of,
I think it would be cool for us to do community, woohoo, you did a good job. You know what I mean? To put it into the game, just joking ones, all of the people in here maybe, just have a day where or during the after party where we do something like that. And just for fun, so everybody who's here, it's an inside joke to them, but to everybody else, it doesn't really seem like anything,
Yeah. But yeah, thank you for y'all's time, and thank you for the opportunity. Thank you, Fuzz, for creating the opportunity. And, I want to thank the Lord for, Beyond Bitcoin and all that. But thank you for everybody.
Yes, thank the creator, guys. Yes. Thank the creator. So we can create ourselves and try to mimic it. Anyway, thank you guys for joining up and creating and doing the stuff that you do, because I have watched as many of these projects, you run into hard times and many projects just leave. Other projects come around just to screw you. Not every project sticks around to build things and try their best to do a good job with it. And you don't always, sometimes you trip, sometimes you make mistakes, but when you bring value and you stand up to those things and you hold up to it and weather the storms, you find that it rewards you in many ways. So I just want to say I appreciate it, and I hope that what we do here is somewhat of a reward for you. Now, I'll urge all of you today to make sure that you have signed the guest book if you have not already. I'm providing the link here. Aliens is the secret word, or the magic word. I swear we should get a project that talks about finding aliens.
What happened to Alien Coin, man?
Backed by Gridcoin, a Gridcoin bounty. Maybe we should do that. Bring on scientists and be like, listen to these things with our computer blinking. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next project, shall we? I'm having a bit too much fun today, guys. I'm sorry. And that is going to be Community Casino, and that is Bethalia. Am I saying it correctly?
Go ahead, Nick.
Well, thank you guys for letting us talk a little bit here. See if Beth can get her stuff together, but she was working a second ago, so.
But go ahead if you would like to take over for her for the moment until she's got her mic fixed.
Yeah, I'll get it started, and then Chief can jump in too, and if she gets her mic going. So, we were here last week. We kind of want to update you guys on where we're at and about the project a little bit. Since the last meetup, we've been working with some of the other projects too, and kind of co-oping, I guess, if you will. So our project is Community Casino, and our project we really wanted to go above and beyond Steemit, but that's where we're starting. That's where we met. The idea is that we would like to start with some Steemit games, contests, mostly casino type games, but the idea would be to eventually donate 50% of profits back to the community. On Steemit, we would like to give back to the Steemit users, but then eventually we would like to give back to communities surrounding the casinos that we build. So the idea is, we're still doing a poker game right now, actually hosted by me at Nick Nas. Eventually, we have a couple other games in the works, a couple other people we're working with. We would like to start an online casino at some point, and then eventually build a casino in Vegas. We do have some connections in Vegas, and we do have some connections in the outside world that we are working with. Our plan is not to rush and be another failing Vegas casino. So slow and steady is what my motto is in a lot of things. Don't want to rush, and we don't have the huge investors yet. We do have some people we are talking to though. So one of the things that Beth would have been talking about, if she still can't hear her, but she's still talking. One of the things that she would like to talk about is what and who we like to give back to. Eventually down the road, we want to build a brick and mortar casino. And the idea, she's our not-for-profit expert, and that's her life goal, is to build something where we can really give back. And that's the idea behind the community in the community casino. I really hope you guys go check out our poker game. It's starting to become very successful. This is only the second week, and it's very fun and very easy. We are working actually on a couple other ideas. One game that we would eventually like to get into the casinos. We have somebody in Vegas that wants to put him in the casinos, and he wants us to build this game for him. So we will be introducing that to Steemit first, before too long. We are also in the talks with some other sports gaming type people who want to do some kind of sport betting and stuff on Steemit. And that's the nice thing about it being decentralized. We don't have anybody really, we have to watch out for. But it'll be all legal anyways. Chief, did you want to bring anything up?
Yeah, a couple of different things I touched on with him. His weekly game plays poker, revealing whole cards. It kind of teaches it in a fun way. It's sponsored by Loveshares as well. They actually featured us yesterday on their talk show, which is kind of cool. And they have a great message. If you haven't heard of Loveshares, you definitely want to check them out. We also, one thing he missed to talk about, we also do have a online casino we are playing on. It was developed by a fellow Steemian at Tuck. It's called BucksSacks.com. It's used for the Steam Poker League. So right now we have a bunch of tournaments. We just had our second community casino weekly tournament, 20 SVD yesterday. We had 22 people. And I've been sponsoring that since week one, but we just switched it over to community casino. And then so we have that. We can actually go on right now and play an online game. You can play for free, and you can win cryptocurrency. So the goal is to use that. Tuck's a good friend, and partner with him to grow. He's building. You can't really talk too much more about building a competitor site, but we're going to try to help everybody and kind of incorporate everybody. The one thing about People Poker, which is a game he's talking about in Vegas. One of my good friends, he's about 75. He owns 2 places in the Palms place and has some connections in the Palms casino. So we've been working for a year to get this game into the casino. It's actually a game based off numerology and astrology, based off your birthday. And it's a game where you can go play in a casino and you won't waste your money. You actually learn stuff about your life, who you should partner with in your life purposes. So we're trying to build community games that you can play in a casino, have fun, and learn about yourself. With the ultimate goal of switching Vegas from a negative place, all that negative energy, to a positive place, a level wins place, and use all that positive energy to inspire the world. Because if we can save Vegas, we can save anywhere. That's it.
Yeah, we want to bring up, we're working with VoiceShares now too, all because of thanks to Fuzzy. We really appreciate this opportunity to bring these projects up for sure, and the networking that's coming along with it. We also want to talk about the Mark and his witness run, as well as BuildAWhale too. He'll be talking later, but we've been working with him, and it's an amazing project. So make sure you guys listen to that, and just thank you guys for your support. Check us out. If you guys have anything to offer, like Fuzzy was saying a second ago, we would like to talk about that some more for sure.
That's one thing I was going to bring up. We kind of forget to talk about. It's the coin I was talking to you, Fuzzy, about, called BOINC. So BOINC is spelled POINTS, or point. But basically, it's going to be a cross-platform token. So we can use it for the community casino. We can use it online and also in brick and mortar. We can also, it's supposed to be going to be used for the beat battle leagues and different community leagues on here. So when you get rankings in different these competitions, you get points, and the points actually matter. They're actually a cryptocurrency. We're also going to be using points to give to other social media influencers and other networks like YouTubers, stuff like that, to give points away and do contests on their platforms to get people introduced to Steemit. To cryptocurrency, and because points is tied to a Steemit hopefully based token, they'll know about Steemit. So that is the goal with points. That's the token we're trying to get. We can use points for probably like 6 projects, so we need to get that going now. But that's something we need help with you. We've been talking with JP too, but obviously you two are very close, so we definitely need help with that.
Yeah, is there anybody that has any questions? Last week there was some questions and stuff, but
is there any way you guys hear me?
Perfect.
Yep, you're there.
Hey.
Hello.
Sorry.
Why don't you tell us about the not-for-profit and kind of basically a little spiel?
Okay, so my background is in nonprofit. That's pretty much been my only job since I was a kid. So that's what I bring to this team is my knowledge of how to work that whole situation, and that's going to be really our focus in community casino. It's interesting. So right now, I don't know if you guys talked about VoiceShares at all, but that and BuildAWhale are our biggest partners. So since last week, our community has grown exponentially for sure. BuildAWhale and VoiceShares have really partnered up. We've all partnered up, and it's amazing. So VoiceShares is what they do is focus on depression. We met them here, so you guys hopefully know what they're about.
Oh yes, we're very aware. And it's funny. It always makes me smile. I was just being quiet because I'm sitting here smiling. Go ahead.
No, that's cool. I just wanted to make sure that I'm not just talking out my ass. So anyway.
No, definitely. I love the synergy. This is what these things are for.
No, it's ridiculous. I felt like I failed so hard last week. I was so freaked out. But everything has gotten bigger already, and we have touched more souls, and we are already reaching out and doing good. I think Nick talked about our poker game that we got going, so we're on our second game so far. I've done a how to play poker post in sisterhood of the game, so anybody who doesn't know how can kind of figure it out. VoiceShares is sponsoring this game, so that's amazing. And we're working with BuildAWhale. I almost always say build a bear because I'm a mom. So, but yeah, this is our journey is beginning, and it's awesome, and I can't wait.
And one quick question about the astrology. I saw someone ask about the astrology for the game. Most people don't realize the power of your birthday. My birthday is 6/7/89. But everybody's specific birthdays mean something, and it can help you find the people you're supposed to work with on your life purpose. So you, based off that numerology mixed with some astrology that we have resources for about 45 years, Bob's been at this, to kind of make it a gaming way. So we kind of combine numerology, astrology, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. We knew exactly who was going to get elected the president about 4 years ago, based off birthdays. We need a vice president who, based off his birthday. His birthday is June 7th, which is mine. Depends. Yeah, it definitely works, and it's almost illogical for me not to believe anymore. So The point of this people poker is to have millions of case studies where people have to believe. So that's the point.
Yeah, we're working on that game right now. It's gonna be epic.
Well, it's going to be very interesting to see where all this stuff goes, and I know that there's another project that you're connected with, Chief, that I love that kind of, I think, is allied in some way, shape, or form with this, right? Just because the people who ally, they kind of bring their own flavor to the mix, to the ice cream, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, what isn't Chief allied with? Come on.
So do you guys mind if I ask you, you guys are going to have points, right?
That's the
Correct.
idea.
And Thalia, I hope I'm saying this
Just
right.
Beth is fine.
Beth. Yeah, sounds good. Cool. Thank you for giving me that out. I will take it every day. Beth, so how do you guys deal with the aspects of nonprofit with this type of stuff and with the tokenization of it? Have you looked into any of this stuff and seen if it's different, or how different it is on, with respect to a nonprofit?
No, honestly, because the nonprofit world is very steeped in tradition and goodness. So I can't.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead, baby.
One thing that I guess I really haven't brought them up about is there's really a new kind of nonprofit that was created on my birthday, ironically, 2 years ago in Washington State and California, called SPC, Special Purpose Corporation. So I really haven't brought that up to them yet, so it's kind of my fault. But basically, it's a new version of nonprofits because right now, when you're a for-profit company, you have to do what's best for the financial interests of your stakeholders. If you don't, they can sue you. By being a special purpose corporation, you take that away. You can actually do the right thing, so you can pick a more costly solution if it saves the environment, and your investors can't sue you for it. So it's called a special purpose corporation. It's been around for 2 years. It really is a new kind of form. So I really have to talk more about Beth about setting that up. But that would be the new thing, new spin on a nonprofit, besides the online and offline and crypto part.
Chief's holding out on me.
Sorry about that.
I'll tell you guys right now, I think one of the biggest things that you could use would be your understanding of this in the space. Do some presentations on this stuff and people will eat it alive. They will be like, you guys will probably be mad at me for how many people start asking you questions because you probably won't have much time to do anything else. But it might be a great way for you to also start promoting all the stuff that you're doing in addition to that, right? Because this isn't the only place to promote it. You use the stuff that you have, and you guys have a gold mine in understanding of the nonprofit space, which just so happens to obviously be perfect in a lot of ways, I'm sure, for cryptocurrencies or point systems, as you guys call them. I was kind of curious to see if you guys called them points for a legal reason, actually, was one of my questions. So maybe you guys have an answer to that, maybe not.
To be honest with you, the reason why we call it, I hate what I say to be honest, but points is because we wanted the most broad term. So it can be used in video games, you can be used on social media, and everything is points. So it's, right now we have points for the Beat Battle League that we have set up or a scoreboard, so each week they get points. And the points is based off how many SBD they get paid out and how many whale shares. So 20 SBD plus 60 whale shares would be 85 points. So that's what our goal is, to actually make that happen in a real life token. And really the only few people that can do that is you and JP. And he's, where he's been. But so we need to, it's no rush or anything, but obviously before the masses come, it would be great to have that hammered out before everybody gets here. And we also want to bring a lot of people over here. There's 250,000 accounts on here, but only 5,000 to 6,000 people are active every day. So this is like a project still. So we want to get everybody on here using it every day, so the people that are creating all this content are actually rewarded. Because it sucks that's why that one BuildAWhale, we're doing the curation thing. We're trying to help people because they just create all this awesome content and then no one sees it. Or just like a one letter or one word comment. So really just trying to do this points thing to kind of gamify and just bring everybody to Steemit, to be honest with you.
Well, I'll say this. I'm very interested in the project, and I know obviously I would love to shower all of you guys with, man, it would be crazy if I had all kinds of ridiculous amounts of steam power. I don't know how it'd be crazy. But I will say this, we are bringing other whales potentially on board here. So there's vision, and there are people who are interested in some of this stuff. I will urge you guys, you're at 15 minutes. I would urge you guys to create those points, and take a lesson from voice shares that people will do things for them, even though they don't technically have value. If you have a nice looking image that shows that you care about it and a community that cares about it, it will have value. But I will always consider how I can help this project for sure. Now, with that said, you guys do not have a coin or anything today, right?
Correct.
But if you guys want, I mean, and it's no rush, this is just the gamified aspect of this hangout, right? It's no offense to you guys. I'm not trying to make you guys get one, but I will say that if you guys ever need help, feel free to reach out to me.
Thanks so much, Buzz.
Appreciate that, Buzzy.
We can help each other in all kinds of ways, right? I try not to just box myself into the fiscal part, but I'm busy these days, so that's sometimes all I can do. But with that said, I do appreciate you guys joining up. Is there any way of people reaching out to you if they want to support you in some way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I'll post our Discord channel.
Okay, cool. And I will remind you guys all that I am using a lot of the funding that I have available right now to build something called Whale Trails that will partner up with Steem Voter. And that means that if you're trying to get delegations of Steem power, and you're having a difficult time, well, maybe you have a community that really appreciates everything you've frigging done for them. Maybe they would all upvote the things that a coin upvotes and let you wield that to build the community. So we can start creating whale trails, is what I like to call them. And I wanted to let you guys know, because you guys teach me here what you guys need at the same time as you telling us what value propositions you bring, right? There's value all around in this dang hangout. It's kind of funny that we're like a little hidden gem, but I will definitely be looking forward to seeing those types of things, tools utilized by people with brains who are thinking about solutions. So thank you guys for all being those people and those brains. Thank you to your brains for being amazing and human.
Oh, that's awesome, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Well, let's go ahead and I will say thank you to you guys, of course, but let's go ahead and also move on, because I can sit here and tell you guys things that come out of my head all day. But there is somebody patiently waiting with something, a project called Loveshares, and that's Love Abby. Are you able to talk, Love Abby? Love Abby is having some technical difficulties, so what we'll do is we're going to just go ahead and move on to the Marky Mark from BuildAWhale. And Love Abby, you can, once you get started, we'll just insert you next. Okay?
Hey, how's it going?
Very well, man. So you are here to talk about BuildAWhale, which is a project that you introduced last week, but we had a pretty decent little discussion there, and you have obviously have some updates from this week. So I'll go ahead and I'll step back. I'll let you give a quick reintroduction for anybody who didn't hear that last hangout, and go ahead and go into your updates.
Yeah, we started last week. We announced it during the Whaletank. We're basically a bidding bot. That's how we started. That was the initial goal, similar to Booster, Belly Rub, and all the others. There's lots out there. The demand is much higher than the supply, and a lot of the ones out there are basically overused and stressed out. Even BuildAWhale, for example, is now powering down half the day because it just cannot keep up with the demand. And I've noticed BuildAWhale has been shooting out bids that are much lower, or votes that are much lower than what you bid now. And that's why it's got started. But it's morphed into something much more. Part of the change was to have a human touch instead of just having a bot that people send to and there's no one there. We've been responding to people and kind of engaging. And now with a cheap mapster on board, we've been building what's called a concentrated curation, which we're taking the bids that come in, removing 90% of the stuff that's just spam and just vote for me type of quality content, and then taking the quality content that's actually thought-provoking and actually quality, and curating that and giving more exposure to people that submit to it. We have 4 issues out now. We have a few posts describing what it's about I think some of these links are for it. No, but I'll post a link in here for our introduction post that talks about what the concentrated curation is and what the digest is going to be about. But so far we've been getting a lot of good feedback. Some of the posts have about 130 upvotes, all organic. A certain percentage of them aren't, but a majority of them are organic votes saying, hey, we love this project. We want to be featured, or thanks for being out there and getting us featured. So we've been featuring 5 new people each day. Is Chief Mapster unmuted too?
Yeah, I'm here, buddy.
Okay, I'll let him talk about some of that stuff when we get there. But right now, we're basically trying to build the curation part of it aspect and make that a strong part of the service. Change the narrative a little bit to nominating good content rather than just throwing out bids and getting an upvote back and hopefully you come out profitable type of thing. And I see some people have been doing that. Like we've received a few donations, basically people bidding higher than what the pot is and all that stuff. And we want to build the steam power so we can support larger bids, get more people in, and give a bigger return on investment. Because I know a lot of the people that are doing it, their initial thing is just, hey, I'm going to spend 10 cents, 50 cents, $1. I want to get $2 back, or $1, $2.50, or whatever doubles their bid. And we can't do that without a larger pot. So we're looking for delegation and trying to find a way to grow it so we can take a bigger pool and offer more. But the curation is something we're trying to really build a service around and offer something that other people aren't. And Chief Master's been doing a great job, and it's not like some of the other curations that, hey, this is a great post, it's talking about coffee, here you go. He puts a lot of thought into how he responds and how he explains and discusses the content he finds, and it's not just, hey, this is good, this is the best thing we could find. This is it. He actually provides a lot of insight on it, and if you want to talk about it, the curation, Chief.
Yeah, sure. I have some experience because I was one of the first people with OCD, which is the second Operation Curation delegation, which is a guild besides Curie. Me and Acid Yo, he was running it, and I was kind of like number 2. And then it's kind of more of a community project, and I'm more of a startup guy. So I left. We left on good terms, but I want to do something different. We have this concentrated curation because what I've noticed is all the people there, they look at the same articles, and all they do is just click the new tag or the science tag, and they don't even read the articles. They just make sure it's not plagiarized, and they nominate it. And that's the post that goes in. They don't even try. So the one thing I was like, okay, maybe Curie's more professional. Not kind of. They have so many different restrictions. You can barely nominate it. And to be a curator, you have to have a recommended curator come to you. So I went to the top dude that told him about concentrated curation. He didn't want to do it, so he told him I'm going to go build my own. And then we came to Whaletank, and I found Mikey, and he's a market marksman, one of the coolest dudes, one of the nicest souls I ever met. And it's a perfect way because now we can literally, anybody that has 0.1 or anybody that, 0.1 SBD can send in, they find a quality post anywhere. That's it. Nothing else. You have to go through websites, you don't have to go through anything. And then your post can get seen. Because the one thing that they're all looking at the same lot and they're wasting time and time. So what I just do is we just go to the transfer list of the BuildAWhale and just chop it down. We have like a team of curated leaders. I send 10 articles to them and they read them, and then they bring back the gems, and then I'll read them and then digest it. And then me and Beth Aaliyah has been writing some too as well. So you can check her out. She writes amazing. But so we do that. And it's really solving the biggest problem is the lack of efficiency in curation, and no one cares. All these people write these great articles, and literally the curators who are supposed to actually do stuff don't do anything. They're just curating for the money. And that's why they have all these restrictions. That's why you can't even put an old post, like a 14-day-old post. Like yesterday, someone submitted a 14-day post. Like you can't get paid on that. He just won the recognition, and guess what? Somehow he got picked, and he made his day. We kept him on Steemit. He was about to quit. So like we get that all the time. Yeah. So our goal is really just actually give people what they want.
The power of humans.
Right? It's just, people just care. And the nice thing about Mark is he literally doesn't want anybody to lose money on the service. So it's automated. And he just started doing this 4 weeks ago. And it's already better tech than everybody else there. And what he does is literally he'll wake up in the middle of the night with an hour left to make sure no one get all their value. The dude wakes up in the middle of the night to check out automated service. No one cares. All the other ones, they just make money. What?
I always try to think of how you can monetize it and make it something that's extra valuable, right? And one of the things that you said that really stuck out to me was it's a problem to manually curate. And you might have 10 people now, but, you know, as the service becomes more and more used, obviously 10 people is not going to be enough. But what if instead of doing, you know, the same 10 people, you post a post to Steemit, that is kind of like a community crowd fund to do it. And anybody can join in and help out if, you know, maybe if they reach certain, you know, maybe you have tokens that you distribute or something and it enables them to participate. Or different things like that. And you take the funds from upvotes from that post where the community has been really engaged and it shows the whales visibly how engaged the community was around it and makes them more incentivized to upvote you, right? Kind of create that kind of cycle. And it might be a lot more scalable too in terms of, right? Like, do you see what I'm talking about? Like you have people who kind of just like, boom, here's a competition essentially, kind of like what we do. Yeah, boom.
And that's one thing is the nice thing about this is once we get some more VP, we can kind of use that VP to reward comments and stuff like that. But the one nice thing that I kind of want to touch on is the concentrated curations. Like right now we just have 5 posts, just a general one. But we actually are going to come out with, it's called concentrations. So like the tech will have one, crypto will have one, art will have one, basically every tag will have one. And they'll have their own daily digest. So that will be coming out. Because like right now we have too many to curate. We don't have enough. So that'll be coming out soon. The nice thing about Marky is he's a G at doing bots. So what he can do is he's actually going to create a bot that scans the transfer list and then by the tag it's in, redirect it to the curator that's in charge of that concentration. So all the music tags will go to the music person in charge of it. All the gaming tags will go to that. So the human elements just to make sure that we give the freaking great feedback that they really want, like the 5 paragraphs, the real if you look at the real shit they really want, and make them cry and stuff like that. That's what they want. So that's why we're kind of combining bot and human to make one big thing, and that's why we really think we're going to be bigger than Curie and RandomWhale combined because we're doing both of their things better, solving problems that they both have. We're going to be long-term sustainable, and we're bringing a lot of good. And we're not focused on curation, which is what the curation rewards, which is what Curie's focused on. That's why they have all those guidelines. We want everybody. We want old posts to get in there because we don't care about that. We just want to make sure the people see it because, me personally, same with Mark, we write some sweet ass articles and no one sees them. And like literally, like sometimes I tear up in my articles and no one sees them. But so we empathize and we want to make sure it doesn't happen to anybody else. So, that's what we need more. We don't need it, but to grow faster, we need to secure more, voting power. We got, investment from my business partner offline for the next wave, but that was about just to double our voting power. We really would like to get where Acid Joe is, about 350,000, because the dude's a good dude, but he got $350,000 for a community project. We're a community project and a business that are doing way more good. So I think that we just need to find the right person, and if we don't, we'll just go offline and get someone that has more money than everybody out here combined and get it to fund us. So we're not really worried about it. We just want to make sure everybody knows we're not just a bot, you know.
Yeah, I always try to think of these things in terms like I see puzzle pieces that float in front of my face when we're having these hangouts. So I try to like put puzzle pieces together and maybe they don't fit, but I try to essentially. And whenever you guys are talking about this, I think of a few things that I know of that, you know, if you're doing better than them, do they have a lot of steam power behind them? Maybe they would maybe some of them will not, I assure you. But maybe some of them will want to work with you and might say, this does what we wanted to do, only better in this way. You know, and they might even give you feedback, well, we tried this part and it doesn't work like you would think. You know, you never know what you're going to learn, but it's worth reaching out. Have you guys considered reaching out to some of these projects and kind of like asking them if they're interested in sponsoring? Because that right there seems to me like one of the best strategies, or one of maybe the paths of least resistance.
Yeah, we're thinking about, we have a few people that we're trying to reach out to. The difficulty is everything's public blockchain, so you can't private message somebody. So you kind of have to get to the point in a small memo field, and gets lost in the transfers list. Not everyone's on Steemit chat. So we've been trying to reach out to some people to try to work something out. I know there's a lot of people that are sitting on voting power that's not doing anything that could help.
Yeah, that's a very good call. I mean, and I will say this. I will always urge you guys to sit and think about how could we use a token for something like this.
We do actually have something in mind.
Okay, cool. Okay.
One thing we were thinking is on a weekly summary digest, which would be able to go over the week we can offer tokens for the people that win those spots, and then offer a way to get into a future article. Like they can buy their spot into like a section that's available via token only.
We call it Curation Coin. And I guess that's one thing that I miss is the weekly ones. Since the one thing problem is none of these things are international. None of these curation guilds. So we've already got translated into 5 different languages. So every week, each of our translators are going to do a weekly, it's called, Curation Digest. We'll do an English one. They'll all do the foreign language ones. And we'll give away the Curation Coin as another bonus. And then we don't want anybody to just be able to buy the way in. So we'll have like a promotion tab on the bottom. Like Mikey said, just put a nice thing. So people, if they have a bunch of curation codes, if they made it, they obviously should be able to be rewarded with some quality content and be able to put theirs on their post. But we'll just make sure it's distinguished saying like it's promoted, but they got this because of the curation coins they earned. So that would be something, Curation Coin would be the one we need to talk to you about with this project in particular.
Yeah, well, the one thing that I have kind of created as a rule is that I will not delegate away because I already have these tokens. So that's why you will always hear me trying to say to leverage the idea of tokens, because when people create tokens, it's just DKP. That's all I'm going to say. Look it up on Wikipedia because I've talked about it multiple times, and I could I could take all your time, the time that you guys have allotted talking about it. But I'm glad to hear that you guys are thinking about this stuff, and I have ideas on it. If you guys are ever interested, I'm glad to sit down with you and talk to you throughout the week. But if there's anything that you guys would like to finish up on today, you have about 45 seconds left. So feel free to do so, or if you have tokens that you guys would like to drop on the guest list today to get an extra 5 minutes, feel free to let us know now.
Does anyone have any questions? I'm going to drop our Discord channel that if anyone wants to join in the discussion or have any questions or whatnot.
And if there's one thing, if you don't mind checking out the Curation Digest, we're actually going to do 2 parts. One's more like we got this inspired from you, Fuzzy, knowledge nuggets. So like the first one's going to be like, if you look at part 1, it's more visually based, still has knowledge nuggets, and still gives good feedback. And then the second part is spaced out like 10 hours later. So we want it, or 12 hours later, so we give the authors full recognition for the full 24 hours. And it's more of the comprehension. So I would just take a look and let us know if you think we should do just one or 2 parts. It would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll look at it, man. There's so much that, and we can talk about some of the stuff during the after party as well, right? Because let's face it, like all this gamification stuff, at the end, you really could everybody's pretty much gets equal opportunity here. We've done that. I'm proud of what we've accomplished, but it's very heartening to see that we have all these pieces that we could put together. And you guys are doing some dang good stuff. I'm glad to see that you're forming a community and realizing what everybody needs to realize, which is that together we are creating exponential value. And that's a very cool thing that humans can do.
And I just want to thank a few people is the images he made, the newspaper that we feature in the Curate Digest. A lot of the translators like Denny Elk and Don't Stop Me Meow has been good. Wolf and Beth has been doing some of the curation. Chief Maps, of course. Steam Power Picks has offered a lot of advice and has been a good friend through this and whatnot.
Can I make one quick point?
Sure.
Unfortunately,
we're out of time, buddy.
Yeah, we're out of time, unfortunately. I hate to do that, but unfortunately, I have to be the game master. The chess is locked for this week.
Mic drop.
Wait until it starts glowing next week, and you can RSVP for it to glow, for us to send you a key to join up next week.
Yeah, vote for Mark, even Mark Witness.
Okay, sly dog. Up next, we're going to be talking with Chief Master about the Steemit Gaming community that he's building. That is far more than just gaming, of course, but I'll let him get into that instead of myself. Thank you for signing up to talk about it today.
Yeah, and actually I was kind of hesitant because we were talking to the team. There's only one guy that's been working with me for like 5 years, and we kind of didn't know if this is the right time just because, we didn't want to ruin Steam developers and all that stuff, and we want to make sure everybody wins. But it really seems like it is the time to do it right now. We just need it, because it can't be business as a first game. It has to be something else. So that's why I'm actually talking to Mark is maybe like productivity as a first game or something that's more Steemit related that everybody can use. We do, Nick Noss has made one. If Nick, you want to put a link. But so basically with Steemit Gaming, all the grades like you learn in school, those are levels. And the goal is eventually that people can go as fast as they want to through the levels. Because we know that people learn at different ages. I probably would have been through school really fast, but I just stayed. But sometimes people learn faster, some people learn slower, so we don't want to make people learn fast. So we're trying to work the element into the first game, but once we figure out all the bugs, that's going to be our ultimate goal. So people will post, one thing we're going to post is like a comment game. So we'll post a nice article, they'll read, and they'll comment the best response to the question at the bottom. They'll have to critically read the article, and then the best responses will be voted on just on a voting scale, just like you do, Fuzzy, with the response, for the placements for speaking. So we'll use that same scale. That's where BuildAWhale comes in. We can once we get the VP out there, we can just use BuildAWhale to do that. Or the goal is to actually just use the points, the token, to do that. But that's the one thing we need to get this points going. But the games would be taught through that way, or you can actually be a curation game, which we'll make a quick question about maybe find what's the difference between this or that, like marketing and branding. And they can go out into the Steemit community and find an article that best describes this and leave a comment. And in the comment would be a tag for Steemit Gaming. And then all the responses would be graded. That's kind of the one thing we're missing as a developer that can make a chain BB type thing where all the tags can just be easily seen so we can find the articles. And that way, rewards the people, the learners, the students, we call them learners, that find these awesome articles, and it also rewards people who create the articles. And then the last one would be, we would post a quick question about efficiency or maybe what your daily routine is. And then the people would post, their own daily routine, and other learners would comment on it, try to give advice or maybe recommendations. And that way we would grade those responses because it shows that they obviously critically think about that information because they're applying it to other things. But the whole really good thing is just the gamified learning. People are afraid to learn. It makes them uncomfortable. That's why they are programmed and then they shut down whenever you talk about new subjects because it makes them feel uncomfortable. So one thing, it's like Fuzzy talked about last time or 2 weeks ago, is when you're in a video game, you're not afraid of anything. You can literally do whatever you want. You can fly, you can do that, and the people aren't afraid. So if we bring that element, it's because your brain's in a certain state. It's subconscious and conscious, but it unlocks something that you don't have the fear of fear. And most people that fear, they don't realize fear is fake anyways. It's just in your head. And this gamified element makes sure that gets rid of it. So if we get rid of the fear of learning and also judgment, because, the grades would be more voting scale. And also, you can learn at your own pace. You don't have to worry about writing the test fast or doing the homework because other people are looking at you and stuff like that. But yeah, so that's what we're looking for right now. Is really someone just to be the next gaming leader, because I can't be it. I'm obviously in a lot of projects, but I would like to teach business or life stuff, and it seems like we need something more concentrated to do it. So something more tech related, crypto related, productivity, efficiency. Someone that has an expert and that could easily make posts or quick questions about it every day and follow up is someone we need. And so we're kind of just waiting for that right person to do that. But yeah, I'm here. I just want to leave some time for questions because, it's kind of, gamifying and learning is nothing new, but we're trying to bring it to Steemit, and hopefully Steemit's the platform that we do it on for long term, and that's what we really want. We want these people to earn points through their actions. So we build a leaderboard, just like everybody, all these contests, we have leaderboards that they can earn a championship belt, or they can win a trip to Vegas or something like this. And the points is really, it will be a token eventually, but right now it's just a normal ranking system. So it's just, instead of having grades and stuff like that, it's way better to get tokens for your efforts and get some stupid grade that no one cares about. But yeah, so I guess I'm open for questions.
Well, here's the thing that's interesting. There's another project, and it's called Peer Plays, okay? And it is another graphene chain, guys, that's on the market today. And they are going to have APIs that work with Unity. And that means that there will be the ability to actually build games and stuff that will have their own cryptocurrencies connected to them. And these types of tools, synergy, yeah. It's amazing. I keep pulling the same dang thing out of the hat every time, but it works, right? When we connect all those things together, they're tools. Instead of us being tribal and fighting each other, we're letting chains become tools that are like wizard spells that we pull out of our butts when we need to fight an enemy or solve a problem, aka. Right? We might not pull them out of our butts. That's probably not the most pro way of saying it, but it's funny. It's funny for the immature.
Yeah, right. Or maybe the not aged or not programmed, I like to say.
Not programmed. Maybe. Let's hope people aren't programmed like me. But, all jokes aside, Steemit Gaming, you're saying that somebody will probably need to take it over? Is that what you're getting at for this one?
Be the first, because I wanted to be the first game, the teacher. But there's not enough business people on here, and I know a little bit, but my shit is business. That's my one thing I feel confident talking about, and so that's what I would want. But there's not enough business people on here, not enough interest in it. So why wait? I would rather just wait. But something like Mark's doing, or productivity or efficiency, or some tech stuff or gaming, is awesome. And
Can I tell you something real quick? Because when you tell me that your shit is business, I'll tell you the one thing that probably most people know. You can probably tell. I'm giving you guys money. It's not making me money right now. It's something that's beyond that, right? Business is not my thing. But what I will say is, I think that there are ways that we can monetize this stuff. That, have you ever seen things like, you can have your own World of Warcraft server, right? Fair enough to say, right?
Okay.
So somebody could go out and run their own World of Warcraft server. There are different games out there. You can run your own server for, this other game. But you can actually get into the code and change different things. What if we as a generation leveraged these types of things that already have open source communities that build and say, hey, we have Steemit, we can help fund you guys helping to build things with this. We would like to create, for instance, let's say, it's not Oblivion, it's the one after Oblivion, the Bethesda game. Is it Oblivion what is it? Skyrim, yes. Skyrim has an open source toolkit where you can go and you can create your own worlds with it. There's a rich community around it that doesn't even get paid and they do it. What do you think would happen if you said, we would like to bring you to Steemit and we would like you guys to help us create a world where you earn different power-ups and different abilities and different things by doing quests that teach you things for school, or maybe make it so you can access these spells, but it fizzles out over time if you don't exercise that memory and you don't go do these math problems, you don't get the lightning spell all the time, right? So you have to keep up on it until, once a week you have to do the same, a certain kind of mystery school, whatever you want to call it. You could even have a library in there and have sponsors, that give you a library where you can go read actual textbooks and stuff in there. These were the things that I was thinking about before cryptocurrency, as a matter of fact.
Have you ever heard of Second Life, the simulation online?
Yeah, yes.
Your idea just made me think of Steemit Second Life. Like literally we could just make the education, because we used to do this in school, like in high school. We actually would do presentations, PowerPoint in Second Life. And I know I haven't been on it since a while, but it'd be cool to maybe
there's a big community around it.
Maybe have like a 3D element. So like Steemit, we could actually literally have our own avatars on that Second Life and to connect it to Steemit. All be Steemit posts, use Steem dollars or the tokens, use BeyondBits in the Second Life, and actually like try to infiltrate. Because I know that the real estate and game in Second Life is ridiculous. People are getting paid millions of dollars just for real estate.
I know.
On a virtual place.
Businesses that hold conference calls on Second Life.
Yeah, it's actually cool. It adds like their gamified thing. Like I was really deathly scared of talking to people in high school, and that giving that presentation in PowerPoint, but in Second Life for whatever reason helped me. So I don't know if there's some kind of thing attached to that. Maybe you're going to see yourself in a different world or see yourself out of body in a different thing that maybe helps with fear. I don't know, but you just inspired me. I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it.
It's the same disconnection from emotion that people fear with, if I operate an android to kill people, like a Terminator or a drone, as opposed to shooting them myself or stabbing them in the field of battle. Like it's more real. Right, you have a harder time dissociating yourself from it.
Nutella, it's you actually just like it's like a game. So like you create your avatar and you walk over to the presentation, and the presentation it looks like a presentation, like a PowerPoint, and you can go bring your guy and sit down with everybody else and see everybody sitting in your class sitting down with you. So it's not an avatar. It's actually you actually can move. So you feel like you're going to walk to a presentation. Your fake self on a video thing is walking to the presentation, sit down with the same people you're in school with, and you're listening to a presentation. It's really kind of cool.
Could create a whole crypto school around that too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, these are the types of things that I'm very interested in. I think there's a big market for it, and I would say, if you guys want to try to get people paid to do it, start reaching out to some of these places. Like, there's time, but I'll just really quick say, start reaching out to the places where these developers are already working on stuff for free. But if you came at them and said, we have an actual goal and here it is, and it's actually a very good beneficial thing for everybody. And by the way, we can actually pay you something using something called cryptocurrency. I think you'll see a lot of people join up, actually. And that's how we bring whole communities to us, right?
Is that something like Gridcoin would do? I know that I'm out of time, but I like the idea of using computing power that's not like would have been wasted on good projects. There's
all kinds of stuff that can be done. But we can finish this up during the after party if you guys would like.
Roger that.
All right. Well, thank you for joining up, and I will just urge everybody to. I'll take this moment really quickly to urge everybody to consider upvoting, promoting our content, because the speakers here, they split the earnings from these. I match them in BeyondBits for what we earn, and I send them out between all the guest speakers who actually join up, and so on and so forth, right? So the more that we get upvoted, the more I can build tools, the more I can help to fund these endeavors that everybody needs to work on. And in addition, I can give more tokens out to the people who are at these hangouts. So I just urge you all to consider re-steaming, sharing this content in your Discord channels, making your own content based on the stuff that we did here and telling everybody to come to these hangouts. There's so many ways and so many opportunities, they're limitless. And you add your own little value proposition and think about it and just try to be helpful. That's your motive. And we all can build amazing things together, even if we're not always 100% coordinated. So I try to be a good faucet, Nutella. I try to be. It's not an easy job, but I do want to help all of you guys. I really do. And I think that some of the things I'm doing will prepare you. You guys are going to love what I'm doing for all of you guys here in a little bit. It might be a little bit controversial for some people at times, but let's just say that EOS is a very big thing that's coming, and we need a very strong community for it. And the things that you guys are doing now are preparing you guys to work together for something maybe grander. Just gonna say. Now, with that said, only those who listen to these hangouts will have any clue about what's going on.
That's why I love these hangouts.
It's funny, isn't it? It's like golden nuggets.
You either have to come here or have the dedication to go through 3 hours of work. So either way, you earned it.
Yeah, and the thing is, all of you guys doing what you're doing is just preparing us for the big stuff, because that's where that's the big stuff's coming. Now, with that said, thank you guys, everybody, for helping and supporting in your own way. And we'll go ahead and we're gonna just reach around here and ask Love Abby if she's caught up with her mic.
Hello.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
Okay, she caught up to the pack.
Okay.
So we got her.
I had to use continuous again, and push to talk is not working. But I'll go ahead, okay?
Sure,
okay.
please.
So yeah, I pitched this idea in Whaletank mid-July, and we've been working hard to make everything behind it a reality. So it's happening with this group called Steem PH. So I created the Loveshares token this week. It's a token distributed to charity volunteers on the Steemit platform that they can use to add value to their posts, or add value to posts created for fundraising or for charity purposes. So for this purpose, we're gonna create a Loveshares Steemit account. So it's going to be similar to the VoiceShares Steemit account. I'm also part of this group called Steem PH, where the Loveshares token was conceptualized. And Steem PH is currently in the works of having a major charity NGO join the Steemit platform. It's the Philippine Red Cross. So we met with them at a major concert they had last week, and we talked to their youth program manager to talk to the volunteers, the youth volunteers about Steemit, and have those volunteers join the Steemit platform. So when the volunteers of that NGO join the Steemit platform, it could potentially be a universal way to reward charity volunteers for their contributions, and also a way for them to donate back to the different charities that they're supporting through their upvote values when they post about those charities. So having the charity NGOs join the Steemit platform will mean that it will be simpler for people to donate to different projects and get new volunteers on Steemit join those charities as well. So initially, Loveshares will partner with Steem PH on the charity projects that they will be spearheading. But in the coming months, we had an idea from the last Whaletank to take it global. So we're gonna work on that next. We're gonna connect with the Steemians worldwide who are spearheading and supporting charity projects. There is still a lot of work to be done for Loveshares and Steem PH, but in the coming months, we're gonna visit this orphanage called Cribs for Abandoned Children, and that's when we're gonna start distributing these tokens, the Loveshares tokens.
So, have you thought about a value proposition for, like, they're going to earn these tokens, and how are the value propositions going to come into play? I'm just very interested to hear what your thoughts have been on this.
Yep. So initially, it will need the Loveshares account to build a reputation. You suggested before to BuildAWhale, so that's what that account is for, to have the upvote value. But all the information about the charity projects and the initiatives we're doing is in the link that I gave to you above. And then eventually, it will work on supply and demand kind of thing, because when more charity volunteers use the token, because the goal is to have countrywide reach, since we're trying to reach out to Philippine Red Cross and their numbers are quite large. That's what will help create value for the token, because eventually people can buy these tokens and use it for charity purposes, even without the Steemit part of it.
Have you considered... Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, have you considered reaching out to Red Cross and saying, here's what we offer, here's what we have available. If you were to power up Steem Power, you could actually reward a bunch of people throughout over the course of time with this renewable resource, essentially.
Yep. So we met with Red Cross already last week. Their Secretary General, that's the highest position in the Philippines, and they were receptive about the idea. They wanted us. I submitted a proposal, and we're meeting with them at their headquarters very soon. And then we're also gonna talk in their Country Youth General Assembly, where there will be 93 youth leaders there that will listen to the talk about Steemit and how to join the platform.
You guys make it really hard. We need more whales, guys. We need more whales for this type of stuff. Thank you, Love Abby. You are a real doer. I'm just gonna say this right now. I see you busting your butt and doing a lot of good stuff. And I will say this: we need to help you get a mic so it comes across better, because that's the least I can do for you at this point. Because you deserve for this to come across as good as possible, because what you're doing is, the Philippines and countries like this are some of the best places where the money goes the furthest and helps the most people. And these are people who are in income brackets where it's so hard for them to, like, anything that you can give them empowers them significantly. Right? You know, in many societies, it's almost like we're saturated with wealth to a degree. But so the wealth doesn't, make as big of an impact to some degree sometimes. But there's a lot of potential with with how far you can stretch a budget to actually help a lot of people with this. And if you can make it where it's not just one charity, but it can be sponsored by, the Red Cross and maybe even a consortium of them, These are the types of things that I think this is the type of stuff that can empower, that can use Steem Power in a way that really can do some dang good. Good job, Love Abby. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Love Abby? Because I can talk about this project all day, and my wife is from the Philippines, so this is a subject I'm pretty comfortable with. Oh, Natalia is asking, are you making videos?
Hello. Yeah, when we start visiting the charity organizations like the Cribs Orphanage, we'll make the videos when it happens. And we're gonna have sure to these posts to make sure that everything is covered, because the question always with charity is it legit? Is it real? So we want to eliminate those doubts. Yep. So we want there to be financials included. We want everyone to know where their money went.
Well, blockchain is going to be a heck of a good tool for that. And if you can help them, if they need help making accounts or any of that stuff, remember, I can help you probably with a lot more things than just money. I don't have a whole lot of time, but I really would love to help with something like this if you guys need help, especially with, I need X, Y, and Z done. And it's something that I don't understand about BitShares or, anything that I might be able to help you with. Please feel free to let me know. But with that said, is there anything that you feel is important that you haven't covered right now? You have about 5 minutes left. So I don't want to press you too much, but
I just wanted to make a mention, because there's a lot of charity work that has tried to happen, has happened, and is currently happening on there. If you look at traditional charity, the way that it's been raised is there's always been, you go into a hospital and then they'll say, this ward was donated by X, Y, and Z. And they do that and they get a plaque, they get a feel-good moment, and then they get a tax credit for something like that. And that's traditionally the way fundraising has always happened. There's recognition of the donator, and then there's a benefit to the donator to liquidate some of their extra money so they don't get hit so hard by the tax man. In Steemit, we seem to lose some of that. I don't know how we can still do those same things and do them even better, where you're giving recognition and then helping the donator so that the price of Steem can increase so you can finance all of these charities. Because all I see it is that to somebody else, it could seem like we're bleeding the reward pool dry by doing great things with the rewards, but at the same time, we're kind of cutting our own throats by spreading the love and the wealth too far and too thin, and that's why our Steem dollars keep going down and down. It's like a one-way exit from Steem to USD or something like that, where people cash it out and actually buy the things they need. So I think at some point we should come up with like some sort of consortium that thinks about this and addresses that. I'm asking the hard question here, but I think it's probably time that we consider something like that. So just have that on your mind.
Yeah, that's the reason actually why I brought up the idea of them approaching charities to buy into Steem Power. You know what I mean? Because in my mind, if I'm a charity and I can perpetually give out money and, quote unquote money in the ecosystem, well, that might let me stretch my dollars further. Now, of course, I have to realize that I'm subject to risk on, the ups and downs of the cryptocurrency. So, but at the same time, if you stick it out for the long haul, the chances are you're probably at least going to give out the amount of money you would have if you wouldn't have powered it up. You know what I mean? And if it does blow up to billions and multi-billions of dollars, then you're even better off, right? So we're at a place where I think it might be, that's at least one of my thoughts that would help mitigate that. But I do agree with you that if we're always coming to take and we're giving it to someone else, but we're doing it, and we're doing it in a way where we don't get return on investment, then you can't really continue giving indefinitely, right? You have to create that engine that is self-perpetuating. And it is a hard question, and I only bring up one idea to the table, so I don't have all the answers, but it's a dang good question. And Bethelia, you probably could speak up you're from the community casino project. So why don't you Beth, yeah. Feel free to speak up if you have something that you think would be valuable in this, because that's what you're doing this for.
Well, I don't really have any ideas, but I have questions, I
Sure,
think that
sure.
creating I don't even know, a cryptocurrency nonprofit, loved it. I don't know if Chief is still around, and he was talking about that other nonprofit that I know nothing about, but I think it's a really interesting idea.
Like the Special Purpose Corporation?
Yeah.
Beyond Bitcoin needs one.
Yeah, that would be a perfect one, and then that way it really keeps you legally obligated. You can do the right thing and not be legally obligated to do the opposite. So you really cover yourself on all bases.
Yeah, you can't do good things or attempt to do good things and because you failed, be put in prison.
Yeah, the nonprofit industry is really, really regulated. So because you don't pay taxes, and this obviously is just in the States, I don't know about other places, but because you don't pay taxes, you have to follow the rules really stringently. So I would be very interested in figuring out how to do that in this kind of global cryptocurrency world.
Hey, Chief, would that be similar to an LLC in a non or a profit type business?
Well, it combines the best of both worlds. Special Purpose Corporation, you have the nonprofit aspect, so you can distribute the profits to the right thing, doing the right thing, and not worry about getting sued. And then, it's a good question. Let's see.
So yeah, that sounds like in some way similar to the LLC.
And then the LLC, the LLC part is just like personally, you're not legal for it. It's not like a sole proprietorship. So you need to have that LLC part, and that's why the Special Purpose Corporation was formed, because I'm pretty sure a millionaire got screwed because he did the right thing, with the chemicals, in a water treatment plant, and he got sued like $20 million, and he was pissed because he did the right thing, but he still got sued by his shareholders. So, I think he kind of lobbied to get this created about 2 years ago. It's only in 2 states, but it might have been more since. I haven't checked in about a year. But it's really
similar types of things.
Yeah, that's really most of the businesses, that's the ideal, because you want to do the right thing. You can be a good business and be a good person. Everybody just thinks it's either or right now. So why not use this special purpose corporation to kind of reiterate that purpose that we are good at business and we are really good people too. Why can't you be both? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Well, this is a great point to end on, I think, for this project, because we have hit the 15-minute mark. Unless, of course, Love Abby is wanting to share drop some love shares on people here today. But that's, of course, all up to you.
Unfortunately, it doesn't have value yet, but in the coming months, we will figure all of it out.
Well, I'll tell you what.
For the radio listeners, her Steemit channel is LUVABI. So it's love, spelled the funny way, LUV, and then AB, A for apple, B for bear, I for igloo. And I just browsed her posts, and they're terrific, and so I definitely follow her.
Yes. Well, does anybody have anything else that they'd like to say real quick before we move on? Okay. Well, thus far, I will say that every one of these hangouts, they get more interesting to me because I'm watching the big picture as it moves and it does things that I know are going to keep me thinking all week for the next week. So thank you for bringing all this stuff and helping me kind of try to put these puzzle pieces together too, and showing me also where puzzle pieces are that I didn't know exist. It really is a very important thing that all of you guys do, and I'm sorry to any of you that I don't reward enough. Maybe someday we can afford to reward everybody a lot more, but I do appreciate it. Now, with that said, I will say that there is another project that is called Looking for Niche Coin, and that is by a man named Robin Hood. And he is an all-star, wears a baseball cap all the time, because he's that kind of cool guy. And I don't want to talk about all the things that he's doing because, well, he's going to be the guy who needs to talk about it. He's the one with the awesome hat. So I'll go ahead and I'll stop joking, Robin, but I'll let you step up and let everybody know a little bit about yourself, about the project, and get into any updates that you might have this week.
Thanks for the baseball introduction. Hello everyone, I'm Robin, and I am here to give you all an update on Looking for Niche. So, just a brief overview. What is Looking for Niche, if you still don't know? It's a community for finding like-minded people. It's also a community for finding other communities. You can call it a community hub, if you will. And it's also a tool for finding like-minded people by signing up for tags that interest you. And that way, when other people sign up for those tags, you too will be introduced. But other than that, it's actually many things at this point. A new thing is that it's also a place to promote your niche community and be rewarded for building it in the process with the relatively new LFNCOIN. And that's LFN as looking for niche, and coin as, well, any other coin, I suppose. What LFNCOIN does is it can give you upvotes from me. Right now, one LFNCOIN is worth a 100% upvote from me, which is approximately $0.18. So it's not a huge amount, I suppose, but it's last week it was $0.10, and I expect it to be probably 25. Maybe that's even a little low compared to where it probably will be, but at least $0.20 at the end of the week. I've had a few people test it out and try it out, and they should now be getting votes that's worth the transaction. So at the very beginning, when I had almost no upvote power, the transaction costs, someone was worried that it would eat it up on the BitShares network. But that's no longer the case. You get the LFNCOIN for free through promoting your niche, and then you can use it for upvotes from me. Another way to earn these LFNCOIN is through a bounty that we're currently running. So our bounty is to promote Looking for Niche itself. You write about Looking for Niche. You write about which niches you look for through the whalebot/LFN tool, and you tell people how they can join. And that's pretty much it. And everyone who does that receives 75 LFNCOIN. And I will retweet those posts and tell everyone else about their posts as well. So it's a way for you to help out the community and get rewarded for doing so, and also for hopefully get a few more eyes on your content, at least long term, when I get more Steam power and can upvote you even more. Obviously, the LFNCOIN is not always going to be worth a 100% upvote, especially not when you get 75 of them. That's a bit extreme. But it will still keep being about, I think, at least $0.20 in minimum value per coin. That should mean that if you get the coin right now, there's always a, direct, you always get back what you paid. You've paid nothing, but even in transaction fees, you get those back in SPD, and you get a bunch of extra Steam power that will help you in the future. So if you participate in the Looking for Niche community, it's pretty much a free way to get some extra Steam power in the long run. Steam Power Picks asks if he can shameless plug his LFN bounty post. Of course he can. So the first people to have written about the Looking for Niche bounty is Steam Power Picks, as well as Paula G. Let's see if you want to post it. There we go. If you want to try out the LFNCOIN upvote, all you have to do is join the Looking for Niche Discord, and in there you'll find a guide on how to earn them, as well as how to spend them, if you will, on the upvotes. You can also, of course, buy them directly on the market, but right now I'm not selling any myself. I have considered doing that just to lower the price a bit, but on the other hand, I don't want to do that because I don't want to, sell others. So it's a bit of a hard balance because I don't want people overpaying, because you're not even, I tell people that you're not even supposed to buy it because you can get it for free, but if you really want to buy it, you can't do that. Just know that I'm not currently the one selling it, so you'll be buying it from someone else that won it for free. Another thing we're doing, which I think is pretty cool, is I've started helping out small niches get their own Discord communities. And what I will start doing with those is I will start paying them with LFNCOIN so they can upvote their own communities posts. So the first community we helped establish is the street photography community. And that's run by Steemit user Outerground. And it's about taking pictures of the street, especially of action-y scenes on the street, but also of street art, for example. There's a lot of that happening as well. The community is relatively small right now. I think it has just reached about 10 members. But if you're interested in either street photography or street art, I would urge you to join up with the street photography community. You will not only will you be find other people who are interested in the same thing, you will also, if the community keeps growing, be rewarded with Looking for Niche coin, which would upvote your posts or upvote other people's posts if you are generous and want to help your community grow. I think that's actually a good idea to do that in general, especially if you run the community, to upvote posts from your own community just to help everyone get seen. The more people who are seen in your community, the more value the posts have, and I'm talking about not arbitrary value, but Steam dollar value, the higher it will go into the hot page and such, and the easier it will be for people to find your niche. Another community we are helping to create is Paula G's community about data research. So she used the Looking for Niche tool to find another user who was interested in doing data research on Steemit, and they ended up talking, and she ended up giving him a free course. She's doing some courses on data analysis through, I can't remember what the site is called, Udemy, I think it is, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's her own, she's also doing her own website, I know. And so they found each other, and now they found each other through Looking for Niche, and now they want to start up a community for data analysis. And I think it's a pretty cool tag because it's one of the few I've seen doing sort of deep and heavy analysis of where whale votes go, or what new users do on Steemit, or how, you can use this data to sort of find out what people do and how people use Steemit, different, both new users and whales and everything in between. And it can, in the long run, it can help you, of course, market your posts if you're into that. Another thing it can help you is also just understand Steemit and understand how well, I suppose how it works and why maybe your posts are not getting viewed. So you can use it for personal gain as well, but you can also use it because I just think it's interesting seeing what's going on and how everything works together in a sense. And I've started doing a few other things as well, community advocates. So I found the first community advocate. She's called Heart to Heart on Steemit. She's a user who writes a lot about traveling and health, food, and some interesting stories about her life, crazy stories quite in fact. And she's started a community about health and veganism, among other things. And so she's become the first community advocate because she's helped me get the word out through different channels. And if you would like to become a community advocate for Looking for Niche yourself, just reach out to me on Discord. What you do, or you don't have to do anything, I suppose, but what the intention is that you do is you, of course, help promote Looking for Niche. And then, in turn, I help promote your niche because you've become a trusted person. So now your niche will in turn get more viewers in a way. So it's all about leveraging your community, or firstly finding your community. If you have trouble finding people that do the same thing you do, that's the one way to do it. The next thing you can do is then leverage that community with the LFNCOIN, for example, among the possibility of promoting your niche in the different channels. And then when that is done, you sort of have created a network where you are you're now part of a network of the communities that have been created through Looking for Niche, which I hope in the future, when there's more communities created, will mean that everyone sort of will get to know more people and know more about more communities, which I hope in turn will help people say, well, now I know that there's a street photography community, but I don't do that, but at least now I know it exists. So if I ever meet someone who says that they're interested in street photography or street art, I can link them that community and tell them to go that way and find some more street artists / street photographers. So it's what I'm trying to create is sort of a network mixed with a place where you can get your niche community seen. I don't know if I'm trying to explain the bigger picture in a sense, but I can understand why it might be not the easiest thing to see right now because there's not a whole lot of activity in the community yet. But the reason for that, I think, mostly is that we're not that many members, relatively speaking. There are only about 260 something members right now. But the more it grows and the more community we help establish, the more people will be involved. And so I think it will sort of start snowballing at one point, where there's just so many people and so many communities working together that it will just grow and grow and grow until it cannot grow anymore because there's no more people on Steemit. Maybe that's a big wish, but we'll see.
Maybe Marky Mark and you guys might have some interests together, but I'll say this. One thing that really brought a very real value proposition in my mind that you said and really stuck out was that you would manually tweet about it, using your coin. And I think that that's a very underestimated approach, right? But I will say that there are tools like IFTTT, if that, this, then that, and I think one called Zapier and a few other different things out there that can enable you to streamline that. There's something called Hootsuite, and these are all things for social media management and automation. But those types of things, if they were leveraged to make a coin more valuable because you were cross-promoting across other platforms and directing people to Steem, now you also have something that you can bring to Whales and say, hey guys, look, we're not just on Steem, we're reaching out to all these other communities on other platforms, we're expanding to other platforms, and Steem is the center, the hub, and the spokes, right? And they're just going to become a big funnel to us. You might find that those types of angles really are valuable to you.
Absolutely. I think one constraint is just time. And for me, because right now it's only me, and as of yesterday, it's heart to heart as a community advocate. So we're not many people, and so there's not enough time to do anything. Not enough time to do everything. That's why I'm looking for community advocates to help me, get the word out.
Well, if you can get your community advocates to get a developer to develop a way for that to happen, and get me the numbers on what it would cost for that, I'm more than willing to support the construction of that type of tool as long as it's open source for you guys to use and enable people to maybe leverage something like that so you don't have to manually tweet it or something to that effect, right? Make it so they don't have to manually tweet it. When they spend this token, the bot automatically does it, essentially.
Yeah, that would be great. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. But
if that's okay with you, I mean, it's up to you.
I think it's a great idea, and that wasn't even the scope I was thinking, but I think it's a good idea actually. Sort of automating that and expanding beyond the limits of Steemit. That's definitely something that could be a good idea to get more interested. Also in Steemit, just in general.
The whale trails where you can actually have them sign up and trail your coin too, right?
Yeah, man. I actually tried to hear you about that the other day. Can you speak a little bit about that? You can take a bit of my time if that's that's okay.
Unfortunately, we're at 15 minutes, so.
Oh, okay.
This might be next week, or you can power up.
Sure, man. If people want to hear about that, I will pay you for Farsi to talk a bit about whale trails.
Well, you would be share dropping on the guest list, and
okay,
I would be one of the guests, so.
So how many coins is that going to cost?
Oh man, I don't care.
You don't care.
It's something fair.
All right.
What you think is fair.
I'll send you exactly 750. How's that?
That's perfect. Everybody here will have multiple different tokens for joining up today.
Yep.
So, what is the exact question that you'd like me to delve into?
I would like you to delve into what is whale trails and how can it be used for LFNCOIN, for example, and also how can people use it with LFNCOIN or any other coin for that matter.
Well, there's a project. We were thinking about building it ourselves, but then you guys kind of know my philosophy, synergy, right? We were like, we could build something else that's exactly like Steem Voter and connect it up. But there's something called trails in Steem. And that is basically a gang of people that when somebody upvotes, they all kind of go and follow behind and upvote that same person. So it's kind of like saying, I'm giving you my vote to you. I'll earn the money. I'll still get the curation rewards, but I don't have time to go curate myself. And I think that you're a really smart person or you're building some amazing stuff. And I would like to follow and upvote everything that you upvote. It makes it easier for them. They know that it's probably always going to be good quality content. And they also know that they can take it away, that service, if they ever, if they stop trusting a person. But we can actually attach that now to a coin, right? And you could essentially become, instead of having, because the problem that I'm saying with a lot of people is that they're wanting to get delegation. And it's really hard to get delegation from steam whales because those steam whales look really rich. If they all powered down at the same time, they would cause a lot of damage to their own pockets, right? So they have a hard time making money, and they kind of sometimes rely on the curation rewards so they can actually earn something, right? So it's a hard sell oftentimes to get delegation from somebody. And if they're giving you delegation without asking for anything directly in return, they're a really, really, really nice person. So you should either that or they are asking for something in return, right? But we decided that it would make sense to get so people can create trail coins, essentially, like where you can actually sign up and say, every time this coin is used, every time LFNCOIN is used on a post, we will go and upvote that post. I will go up and upvote it too. And if you get a list of 1,000 people who really are a part of this community and they're coming in from all these other communities, like, on Facebook and all these other places, and you get people who are actually investing in Steem because of you, those are going to be some of the best people to ask to be on your trail, right? And now you kind of can create a competition of trails, and if you recruit people, you have a higher chance of getting on their getting them on your trail. So you can actually have a coin that's backed by 1,000 people and all their Steem power, or maybe 1% of their Steem power, or, a mixture thereof. And now you never had to get delegation, but everybody is still backing that and making it worth something. So I call it it's kind of like a school of fish, following a whale, or a school of fish that weigh as much as a whale if you put them in a net. You know what I mean?
If you delegate your Steem power away like that, much like I'm doing with Loveshares, he's voting it up and he's saying where the rewards go. The curation, I have two questions. Does the curation money that post earns by curating it go back to the person that delegated it, or the person that's in charge?
To the person who has been delegated to. That's like one of the biggest problems that this solves, right? Because you don't have to worry about that as much, because that's the thing that we've been running into. And rather than trying to go through a political, a hard fork to change it, it's something that we can always talk about, but the trails the trails are a good way of doing it until that happens.
And the second question is the person that actually owns the delegated Steem power, so for instance, the 1,000 SP I gave to Loveshares to use, and I'm happy to do so, the interest payments that come on those vesting shares, does that go to me at least?
No.
So I'm going broke that's okay.
Yes.
But
you can see where the incentive disalignment comes up, right?
Yes, I understand.
Yeah, so that's kind of where we came up with the idea of just having it so we could do it that way. Now, Robinhood, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to actually kind of explain it, because it's a very important concept, and I try to hit it from multiple angles when I explain it, so one of them hits everybody. But it's something that I will gladly talk to you about behind the scenes too, or after the whale tank is over and we have the after party.
Absolutely, man. I think it was great to hear a bit more about it. And also, I think it's a cool way to, instead of people having to give up their delegated power, they can sort of use it so they also get something out of the transaction in a sense. But also, everyone who gets upvoted gets all that extra value from one upvote, in a sense. And that's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, it makes it so if you are well trusted by a community of people, those people can collectively become at least, something closer to a whale than you would have ever been able to get alone, right?
Absolutely, much closer than I will get in a long time. But anyway, I know my time is up, and I paid for a little bit of extra time, so I suppose I'll speak 30 seconds of where you can find me and Looking for Niche. So Looking for Niche can be found on this link here. It's just bits.ly/lookingforniche. And that's just the Discord link, which is easier to share with everyone than a weird set of numbers and letters. So bit.ly/lookingforniche takes you directly to the Discord server, and that'll set you up. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions or want to participate in any of the many things that are being started right now, and already have started some of them.
Sounds awesome, guys. Well, I appreciate Robinhood, everything you're doing. I would love to see a tool like this. I think would really help you and would help Steem. And that's just, I think for the money that I would spend to have it built, the return is ridiculous for all of us. So if you're interested in trying to get people on board with that, I will.
100%. I mean, reach out to me, because I'd love to hear more about your idea with an open source project that could leverage both Looking for Niche and everyone else. And also anyone else who has ideas on that topic, feel free to join in as well.
Yes, or if you are a developer who is interested in this.
Absolutely.
Please. But I will say thank you guys for joining up and talking about that. Now, there's 3 more projects that we have here today. I'll go ahead and I'll take just about 30 seconds to remind everybody here. Please consider going onto the official Fuzzy Steemit page and re-steaming, sharing our content on social media. And you don't have to upvote, but always please try to figure out ways that you can help us, because everything that we get in resources, we will be trying to build things with that empower you. So I really want to urge everybody to consider ensuring that they do that. Even little things, even if you cannot pay money, it is, you all have unique value propositions that can make this work in a way that I alone cannot. This is what we do every week. But let's go ahead and move on to the Smoke Network. The representation will be the anxious smoker. And I'll go ahead and I'll let him step on up and give a little bit of an introduction, please, if you could, about yourself and the project. And maybe we can go into some community questions. And
sounds good, man. Can you guys hear me?
Perfectly.
Sweet. All right, cool. I'm the anxious stoner. So I'm the co-founder and chief strategy officer of Smoke Network. My role mainly covers product strategy and content marketing. I come from, so before Smoke Network, let me go into the brief introduction. So currently, user-generated content companies such as Facebook and Instagram have allowed large communities to interact and share their love of cannabis. Though these central authorities are controlled and that they manage the network's rules and content flow, usually resulting in illegal cannabis users and businesses being censored or kicked off the platform, such as the cannabis. Back in 2016, they had quite a lot of legal issues with Facebook and try to push them to allow legal cannabis businesses to advertise. And they were still denied after that case. So in 2015, we started 420smokers.us, which was born out of a love of Facebook pages or a love of cannabis pages that a few of my friends started out building. So I connected with them in 2015 and we started building 420smokers.us, which is a media company, and we've built it to 500,000 passionate cannabis users and readers. So back then, the blockchain was relatively a new concept, or at least a blockchain with enough transactions per second to pull off a decentralized social network. Luckily, in 2016, Steem was launched and distributed $1.3 million to its users, only months after launching. As soon as we saw that, we knew the graphene blockchain was pretty much where it was at in terms of scaling, and that the blockchain, it did have a possibility of replacing traditional social media and, centralized applications that require a lot of, transaction, or how would you call it? I guess just
a lot
posting.
Of transaction and throughput that they would need.
Yeah, just, like posting and, each action requires, registering on the blockchain, and each blockchain obviously has its scalability issues. Ethereum can hardly handle 20 transactions per second, and it's already hitting something like 50 cents per transaction. So these blockchains make it unable to create a situation where you can record actual data constantly. They'll just become spam. So the key principle Smoke Network is built on is similar to Steem. We've followed Dan a lot, and a lot of Dan's posts and his videos. And with Steem, everyone who contributes to a venture should receive pro-rate ownership or payment. All forms of capital are equally valuable, i.e. your time should be just as valuable as cash. And the community should produce products to serve its members. So obviously Steemit has had some of its issues as well covering these, but these were the principles that Dan sort of built Steemit on, and we've tried to follow these throughout our goals as well. we live in an attention-based economy, and as such, it's largely unfair, or we believe it's unfair, that we do not get rewarded for our contributions, while founders cash out billions of dollars. You've seen that with Facebook and Zuckerberg. He's almost become a god on social network. He's almost planning the world out in his image. And any contribution or third-party products built on these networks have to find alternative means of revenue to monetize their applications, such as through ads controlled by the networks, essentially. If you look at Facebook's developer tools, they really punt their Facebook ad extension as a monetization strategy. So Smoke Network began as a proof of concept for rewarding cannabis users early in 2015. We actually originally implemented a forum on using NodeBB on a subdomain of 420 Smokers, where we used a gamification system to reward users. So it was a centralized platform, and we basically just had a bank that we printed these coins from and gave them out. They didn't really have any value other than you were able to use them to redeem coupons in our store and purchase certain items like t-shirts. But in 2016, after about 2,000 signups and quite an engaged community, we shut down the forum and started focusing on building a decentralized network, following Steemit's roadmap, or following the outcome of Steemit. So after getting that side and community, after getting 420 Smokers and the community to a self-sustaining rate of growth and a profitable site, we started working on the concept for a decentralized social network based on EOS technology. We decided on EOS for a number of reasons. I'll just go into them a bit later. After that, we built a UX prototype that you can see on our website. I'll just post the link. Yeah, the UX prototype basically is a demo of how we see the first beta application to come out on EOS. Our roadmap includes a running decentralized application on the EOS testnet with a web app to access the application. So that will be our next iteration or our next run. At the moment, let me get back to... Sorry, I didn't really prepare this too well, stoners,
Well, we have a weekly hangout, so there are, of course, many opportunities to give an actual presentation. However, there are things that you can talk about.
Cool. So let's go into the token. Or let me finish off the roadmap, and then I'll go into how the token sort of ties in. So our roadmap started in Q4 2016 with the proof of concept that I've just talked about. And once we got 420 Smokers up to a profitable, revenue generation model it's mainly through affiliate model advertising. So we're able to scale that up as well. We have quite a clear model of scaling that up. Then we built the white paper, or we've written the white paper and UX prototype that you can see on the website. And we started building an alpha version on the Steem blockchain that rewards users in Steem posts. So that is similar to the EOS talk that you have built. And we had help from Barbitar on getting that done.
Yes, he actually has been one of the people who has helped us.
Yeah, amazing guy. So cool. So now we are in the announcement phase. So we've just come out of our stealth phase of the Smoke Network, and we announced the project on Monday as a Bitcoin talk thread. And I've since then just started pushing some content marketing. A big PR buzz sort of press release goes out, should be on Monday or Tuesday. And then we started the initial contribution period. So the initial contribution period started on Wednesday and will run for 1 month. Started on Tuesday, for 1 month. And we are distributing 20% of the tokens. So I'll go into the distribution of the tokens now. There will be 420 million tokens in total, and 10% of those tokens have been reserved for Smoke Network Foundation. Those tokens are burnt on the BitShares blockchain, so they cannot be transferred or traded, cannot dump them or sell them additionally or give them away or anything like that. For this period, there's 84 million smoke tokens available on the pre-distribution. So that is 20% of the supply. If we don't sell whatever tokens we don't sell by the end of this period will be burnt. So essentially, even if it ended tomorrow, that would be the set amount of tokens for that 20%. Then we plan to have a main token distribution next year in either Q1 or Q2, depending on, how far we get on the roadmap. But we are slightly ahead of the roadmap, so things are going quite well on that side. In terms of financing, if you go to our website, you can see how the financing will be used. We have a minimum financing goal of 500,000 BitShares. Currently, our distribution has been going on for 3 days, and we've hit just over 300,000 BitShares. So we're on target to reach our minimum financing and even possibly hit our round one hard cap of 3.5 million BTS. So the tokens are on the BitShares DEX, obviously, and I think that's about it. If we want to start any questions.
I have plenty, but before I ask any of mine, does anybody have any questions or comments that they'd like to bring up? I'll just give you my comment. I don't know if your distribution aspect, all that stuff is final, but I've always thought that burning them I don't know if it even really helps, but regardless of whether it helps or not, one thing I do think is, pretty much guaranteed to help would be that if you said, if there would be a potential share drop on BitShares if we reach our end funding goals or something like that. Or we might do it on the Steem blockchain or something like that. Activating communities to achieve goals for share drops, essentially, of a portion of the token.
Sure, that sounds interesting. The reason why we burnt that 10% was because once the application becomes live on EOS or becomes an EOS application, we'll need that full 10% to drive our traditional social media fans onto the platform by offering them, say, $5 or $4.20 free smoke on sign up. And also we'll be sort of funding those accounts, similar to the way Steemit funded the initial accounts to get that huge drive.
So you're doing it, I see what you're doing. It's via like a faucet mechanism to onboard communities from other communities.
Exactly, yeah. But we could take out of the final distribution the amount that is set for the following ICO. We could take coins out of that if we reach the goal for this pre-ICO. That's quite interesting. The other option is just buying chunks of smoke and giving those. That's essentially sort of like marketing or paying for marketing, and that way the coins at least have been paid for in a way.
Well, you guys see the gamification aspect of all of this, and it's a powerful tool to have these coins, and I'm very impressed with what you guys have done just from the front end. I know you're looking for a back end dev, so if you guys are looking, if there are people out there that are listening to this who are interested in potentially working with them, this is a very good chain for this I think for its own separate kind of ecosystem. I think it's one of those chains that kind of deserves its own chain, if that makes sense. It's one of the ones that makes sense, the most sense right now. And if you guys have all these other social networks and you can leverage that, I think it's a great idea. In the crypto space, the crypto savvy, however, are also a very incredible demographic, especially when you set a goal of saying like, we'll share drop on 10% on BitShares holders or Steem holders if we reach our funding goal of $1.5 million or something like that. So now you activate an entire community who's crypto savvy in addition. But these are just thoughts that I'm bringing to you guys. Obviously, you're going to do what you want with them. But real quick, do you guys, we just hit the 15-minute mark. Do you guys have coins that you would like to share drop on the community to buy some extra time, or are you guys good for the day? Yeah, perfect timing. It's okay, dude. What we will say is this. I appreciate you guys coming on here to talk about it. I think that this is very important. Okay, well, you can pay 5 minutes for me to talk about it. And just because whenever I look at at how you guys have it set up, you're going to have essentially the ability to find, no, I did not. I did not mute him. You would see a little, thing beside him. It's a blue lip.
Oh, there we go. Sorted.
There you go. No, you're fine.
Sorry, man. Cool.
No, you're fine.
Yeah, cool. Sorted out.
So you said that you would like to expand your time, which is what I did. I added an extra 5 minutes on because I wasn't sure what you were wanting to do.
Alright, cool. Just let me know where to send those smoke.
Okay, well that will be to the Brownie Distro account.
Alright, cool. I'll do that just now.
Yeah, it's the one that I was using to send out some tokens the other day because when I saw this project and I saw that you guys have a roadmap, you have crossed things off of the roadmap, you're ahead of the roadmap, you have a good concept for everything. It's kind of like the idea of Steem and mutual aid societies like you were talking about. This is why Dan wanted to make sure this was open source. This is why Dan, from what I understand, paid quite a bit of money to make sure it was open source. Because these are the types of use cases that an entire community can be born, and they're going to be able to connect you up with local dispensaries that accept the coin, for God's sake. And you will review those places and their strains in your local area. So it's a brilliant idea. I don't know how else to say it. It's a brilliant use of this technology. And now I will unmute you because you have speakers that go on in the background and it makes me echo.
Okay, I get it now. Thanks, man. That's about it. I mean, I don't want to keep everyone busy listening to something over and over again, so I won't repeat myself. You can check the website. You can see the white paper. Yeah, as Fuzzy said, we don't have a full-time back-end dev yet, so that's one thing we're really looking for, and one thing that a lot of this funding will go towards. Other than that, we will be probably, coming back next week. It's been a great hangout.
Here we go. Steven Parapix has a question here. He said, earlier in the hangout, it was talked about another coin attempted as payment at dispensaries, but yours could be evolved to do that. Would you? Or could yours be evolved to do that? Would you? Is it worth the effort to push into that market since it's cash-based now? To bring crypto into payment options to legally buy in the states that is legal, that are legalized? I can answer a bunch of those questions, but I would prefer you probably to.
Cool, no problem. So we wouldn't go into that scope just because that scope, it's a pretty big scope, and the dispensaries, a lot of them have to use cash even. There's a lot of laws regulating the cash, and the amount of taxes that dispensaries have to pay is ridiculous. It's also state to state, so it would be extremely difficult for a small company like ours to do that whole scope. There's actually another coin, but I mean, Potcoin is attempting it and has attempted it. I think they're still pushing towards payment processes and things like that. We just don't think it's the scope to go towards. We're trying to stick to legal cannabis and everything to do with the legal cannabis business. So even though there are dispensaries that are so-called legal in their states, they are still illegal on a federal level. So we just want to stay legal as like a legal cannabis company on all levels, and never really delve into the payment of cannabis or go that deep into dispensaries. I think the scope is too broad.
Can I ask you a question? Because I was under the impression, because you were having that, like the reviews and the cannabis, that they were going to eventually next. So you guys won't do anything with the payment processing or accepting of the token itself, or like, let's say, are you guys going to have a pegged currency? No pegged?
No peg, and yeah, we wouldn't want people to sell cannabis for smoke. The thing is, there are so many other use cases that, such as even growers have to be so meticulous on when they grow their cannabis. They have to mark down each day how much nutrients they give, parts per million, all these sort of things. These could all be on the Smoke network, and they could be incentivized to actually keep a record. This could be on the blockchain. The government could have clear records of every grow, every strain, and we're more focused on that side of it than actually a payment aspect. We don't believe. I mean, the dispensaries, they prefer cash. Bitcoin works. I mean, why reinvent the wheel? They could use BitShares rather than Smoke, or I mean, it's got more liquidity for Bitcoin. But I mean, even dispensaries don't even like using Bitcoin. So we think targeting dispensaries on a payment side is not really such a great angle or scope to go towards.
Now, this would be a chain, which would obviously be a worldwide thing. So there's nothing necessarily stopping people from building services in their local jurisdiction to make it possible, though. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, sure. Because Smoke will be open source as well, and it'll be running as an application on the EOS chain. People will be able to modify it, of course, as well, and build upon it. So just as you have additional Steem services and additional BitShares services, of course, people will be able to build additional payment channels or decentralized marketplaces using Smoke. We won't be able to stop them, of course.
Yeah, because there's a guy I know named Emerge who we've given tokens to help revive Steem Pay. He wants to talk to you guys, by the way. And he was the one who revived Steem Pay. It was a project that at one point in time the community paid like $25,000 for, and the person who was saying that they were doing it took the money and just left, essentially, right? So this guy came back. And yeah, well, he calls it Vapor, but now they're moving it to, it's called a Bono, and they created a crowd sale token that they're doing right now on BitShares. And they want to do payment processing and stuff. They're going to try to partner up with a payment processor that accepts Bitcoin and gives cash to local businesses and such, right? So they are trying to partner up in those ways, and I'm thinking that could be replicated in places where, there's a legal cannabis market, because you're right, like, some of the founding fathers believed that, of our country believed that cannabis was one of the power crops that was going to make America one of the strongest nations in the world, because it could be used precisely for just about everything that's needed. Or hemp, yeah, my apologies. Hemp, thank you. Hemp. But cannabis is part of that. It's a small part of the spectrum, but is a beloved one by the rebels in the culture. But how do people reach out to you guys if they are wanting to talk to you more about this project and find out anything more? Do you guys have any social media channels that they can connect up with, or an email address or anything like that?
Sure. So we at the bottom of smoke.network, there's all our social media channels. So the Facebook page, probably not such a good one to reach out, because it's 500,000 people just spamming pretty much. We have a Steemit at Smoke Network and a Discord chat. Let me grab the link. We also have a Telegram channel. I think if you just search Smoke Network, you should find it on Telegram.
Well, I look forward to hearing more from you guys, and I know that it's very early stages. You guys have on your roadmap still lined out another year and a half, almost 2 years.
Yeah.
So you guys have a long view on this, and you've been doing this for a long time now. So it seems like you guys are at that point where you're now evolving, and you've found the technology that will take you to the next level, because everything else has been putting barriers in your way. And I see it kind of as whenever you were whenever you have those things happen, you operate in a leaner environment. Well, guess what? You're going to be able to do more with less. And that means that when you get these types of these types of power-ups along the way, when you get them, you really are thankful for them and do a lot with it. So I look forward to seeing what you guys do with the project, man.
Thanks again, man. Precisely. Exactly. So every time we hit a roadblock along the way, obviously, I got into Bitcoin in 2013 and ever since I got involved with 420 Smokers, I wanted to push it towards a decentralized network. So yeah, it's been amazing. Every time I hit a roadblock, I just go back and they, when someone throws a bone, it's really great for the company and really helps us move forward.
Well, I look forward to seeing the Smoke Network expand and seeing what you guys do with it, really. Now, with that said, I appreciate everybody who joins up to these Hangouts, and I urge you all to consider also re-steaming the content that you hear at these Hangouts or writing about the people and what they're doing at these Hangouts. Because this is about reflecting the light if we are not lighting the light directly ourselves. And it's a very powerful thing that we can do. So rather than getting extremely philosophical and, I'm not drunk right now. I'm not going to drunk dial all you guys and tell you I love you, but I do appreciate all of it so much that, the world's full of a lot of terrible stuff going on, and this is like a little place that shows you good news and people who are trying to do things with not so much, but doing amazing things with it. So I really do appreciate it, and thank you guys on that, on all of this front. However, there is one person who has trucked through this Hangout and has been trying to get their mic fixed for a little bit here, and I want to give them the opportunity to step up if their mic has been fixed. Let's go ahead and give you your 15 minutes, okay? And if you could kindly introduce yourself and dig into what your project is, and try to keep a few minutes for any community questions, which...
Yes, so you broke up right now, so I'll go ahead. So I'm not long on Steemit, but I did notice a few things. I've been QA, I've been UX programmed for iOS, and a bit of a problem with Steem I see is that there's like everybody shouting, trying to get attention, and if you really put a lot of effort in posting something like in depth, like we already said, like so many people are just like clicking, upvote, and I don't see that really working, especially if you have just seven days to read all that stuff. So I wrote about this. I wrote about how we could tackle this, and I didn't know about the descent yet. And so I wrote it all down, you need sort of like a cheetah to make sure nobody's like taking your content and making money with it, running off with your money. And so I thought, okay, this works good, but what about like music and collaborations, video? Somebody can make effects, titles. Somebody can make a drum loop for me, and so we can all work together. But like Decent looks like a big storage space, like an iTunes store, but it doesn't look like it will offer users a way to just upload content, right? So if you're new and you want to get heard, I'm not going to pay for a track. Okay, I could listen to it maybe, but it's not like a real feedback. If I set my price and then expect everybody to just buy from me, I don't think it's going to work, because like you see in Steemit, this feedback kind of works like pretty good, right? So I was thinking like talking to these guys. They live actually close by in Bratislava and in Prague. And I was thinking just to connect with them, talk it over, and maybe the best way is like what we do now, which is do an interview with them, and just like kind of not official, and just to get like what are they heading, because it looks like they're trying to do everything, which I'm not going to, like, I'm expecting that they just won't be able to, because there's so much stuff to be done in the user experience stuff. If you look at, I'm also a musician, so when I make a track, you have a lot of sub-assets, like the drum loops, the guitar riff, and mostly if you work on your own, like then you miss like singers, you miss guitarists, and to work online, you have to need to trade those assets for like a good price or some contract and stuff. And I don't think that is their target, their market target. Just to wrap it up real quick. So it was more like a question to all of you, like what would you like to see? Do you also think like the long form contents like music, films, how we go about it to funding those, or also paying for those, because say if I made a track and somebody is going to market my music, I'm not going to receive anything. So even though I put like most of the work in, like weeks or months at least, and so yeah, food for thought on that topic. So I think I'll just wrap it up, write about it, make some interviews with those guys and see what kind of road they're headed, and all the stuff I saw from you guys already has been so much. I've been here like for what, 4 hours, 5 hours? No idea. So I've seen a lot of synergy going. Like we're actually like building stuff which doesn't which is not on Steam yet. So a big question is also like, what can we have like A/B test pages of Steemit or test new features? I guess not. Like I probably already said something about the politics. So, but yeah, it will be very interesting how to interface it all.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. I heard a little bit of what you said, but I've had a hard time hearing it. However, what I do understand is that you're saying that there's a potential to create kind of like synergy between the chains, right?
Exactly. So I think like if they're not nuts, then they would want to have the people which are on Steam to have some interest, and vice versa. They have like new compelling technology which we could like use. Everybody wants to get out of YouTube, DTube, Viewly, BitChute. They're all like quite primitive, and we don't have any method of transferring funds or upvotes except for BitChute, I think. But then you have to pay for the content and blah blah blah.
Well, I'm interested in exploring the idea. I would like to see have you written anything up like on Steemit or on Descent?
Yes, I did. I wrote about it actually like yesterday night. But I did already write about like the need for and what it takes to track content. Because you need like digital fingerprinting to then identify plagiarism and repeats and all that stuff you have on YouTube, like people uploading content from others, and then you get like you use some kind of music track which has somebody interested in it, so they take your video down, and there's just no transparency in that. So yeah, I will post a link in the right here, and so you guys can all read it.
I would greatly appreciate it, man. Because I don't know all the details about how it would work. I've read you talking about it a little bit in Discord. I've heard you talk a little bit about it here, but obviously it's been a little bit difficult for me to hear it. But from what I understand, the whole concept between, maybe there are things that are lacking on each chain that the other can help supplement. I see it as something that's worth looking at. I don't know if in the end it will work out, but I mean, if there's a will to check it out and there are people who are interested in doing so, I'll never say don't do it. If people really feel like doing it, I'd be interested to see how it would work out, especially considering that there are two different communities basing on two different consensuses. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's the whole pie either. That just makes it to me like a little bit more of a gamble.
People have already multiple accounts on YouTube and whatnot. So yeah. So I think make some mapping between the two, between Steem and you can always market some video or film or music from Descent and put it on Steem, right?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So out of curiosity, do you know any? You said you're a developer, right?
Yeah, I developed on iOS, and I also did some UX, so user experience, like some graphics and like UI.
Well, I'd be interested to see. I always have liked the idea of having a tool where you can kind of post to multiple social media sites, right?
Exactly.
And if there were one where we could do something like that, where the user themselves don't even understand the underlying technology, they just know that they're posting to multiple sites and making money from both of them. I think there's a lot of power in that, a lot of power. But you have to almost have like an interface that kind of helps to unify them without the tech side and the communities that are at the root of them being involved in that, if that makes sense.
Well, the thing is, you have to make an account anyway. That's how everything works. You need to log in, and you already see how kind of disconnected like this Whaletank is. Like you have to set up a Mumble and BitShares and this and this. The good side about this is that people which are really interested, they will get through and so there's like some kind of barrier, some multiple upload features, sure. I think that's a great idea too, but you will still need to interact with all your audiences, and I don't know, like that's a good question.
Well, yeah, I think of a unifying interface that goes further, but we can't go that deep. I mean, we can, I guess, but I like the idea of your topic and not scope creep all over your topic. So
well, the biggest issue I have with Steem is that you have no idea what you're going to get. You can write a very in-depth post, and then somebody will see it and upload it, and okay, then you are paid for. But that's not guaranteed. And one thing I did like about Decent is like you can set a price. And I was thinking like, okay, I could set the price to my post. It would be like virtual, but some kind of measurement like, okay, I wrote it like really for days. You know, is there any way that we can like say, hey, we want to see that metadata on the blockchain, or is that no go? It's like stuck. Steem will just stay the way it is, or how fast is it developing?
Yeah, I won't lie with you. I think that it's a good idea to work with both of them, because there's value in both, obviously, right? The Steem community's just beginning with stuff, and there are problems with Steem. There's problems with all of these chains, like, you know, problems with scalability and if it's really centralized, if there's, you know, centralizing actors and things like that. So there's, you know, it's a struggle, but I do agree that synergy is probably something that we should look toward. And I'm very interested in hearing how it progresses. I don't know how it will progress. I gave you kind of what I think, but that's, you know, that might not be what you think.
So what you think is like a kind of general upload tool, or what is it exactly what you meant?
Well, I think that if somebody can, as a social media user, let's say I'm Facebook, you know, I'm on Facebook all the time. If I can cross post or or quickly share my content on other social media platforms, then I'm expanding my audience, right? And I might have a section where I need to pay for content, but that might just be a small segment of the entire community. And that's like the premium space, right? But I build the community around it using other chains too. Like the synergy between those chains could be that. But the problem is that there has to be a unifying front end user experience where the user doesn't realize that, right? Like kind of like Coinbase, only it's a social network and you have wallets for multiple cryptos and you've earned in multiple cryptos and you might have even sent out like automatically. Have you ever heard of something called Hootsuite?
No, I haven't. No.
Okay, it's for social media managers, and I looked into it, and I know a decent bit about it. You can actually create like Excel spreadsheets and things to send out things on social media and promote your stuff on social media, because there's different kind of feel for every social network community, right? Because of the way that they display data, because of the user experience in general, right? And like, for instance, Twitter, going and posting a bunch of tweets on something like Steemit would not be something that would be very beneficial, right?
Exactly. That's why they are different. So
yes.
I'm thinking like, okay, I like the idea, but you're contradicting yourself already, you know.
I'm listening.
Yes. So what do you think about how could you like stay connected like for real, like we are now? And also cater to all those audiences. I'm not sure, like, if that's doable.
Well, I'll say this: we just hit the mark, but we can talk about it in the after party if you're cool with that.
Yeah, sure.
Unless you have a token or something that you're going to share up on the community.
No. I'm just going to wrap it up by saying I will dive into it. I'm going to write about it. I'm going to do an interview then with those guys, or there are some guys who are already set up doing interviews on Discord. So I will maybe make an interview about myself first to like tell more about my background, which is like really huge, and that's why I was like, hey, I know so much, and I'm going to post a really detailed post, which is like really valuable, but nobody's seeing it, right? So that's where I come from. So I'll be doing that kind of interview, and then with talk with those decent guys. And I was glad to join another Whaletank, and let's see what happens.
Sure, and I want to make it clear. Well, before I do that, though, before I make it clear, how do people contact you if they want to talk to you? They want to reach out to you and ask you questions or anything.
What's the best way? I think my Steemit, people can always, I really look at all my replies. So, until then, I think the Steemit, my Steemit blog will be the best place.
Okay, and you are at Nutella on there?
Exactly, yes.
So N is in Nancy, U-T-E-L-A.
Yes, exactly as you see it here.
Yes, okay. Well, I just want to make sure, before we wrap it up, but I will say, thank you to everybody who joins these Hangouts. This is a mutual aid society concept, is where Steem was drawn from. So it's a very interesting social network. It's not like most social networks. It's almost kind of a cooperative, and people bring to the table in the form of time and effort and money, and we can build things. So we all have tools. All these chains, like I always say, are tools. Think bigger. Don't get locked into one chain, but recognize that they're all very valuable chains and tools that we can use to better the world, but also empower ourselves. And guess what? We can also line our pockets to build more stuff. So it's really, we're living in a cool time if you don't watch the news and all the ridiculousness and the chaos that they're trying to create, and you just build. There's a lot of good news that we're helping create in these things. So I want to thank all of you, and I also want to let you all know that donations and help that we receive goes into building something better. and trying to help all the people who are here, who are building. So in any way that you guys can help us, donations of time, of, hey, I think this needs to be done, I think this needs to be done, I'm letting people do it, because this isn't a me thing, this is an entire community thing. So I'll just finish up by saying thank you, everybody, and you will be earning a little bit in addition to all of this stuff that we talk about here and all the networking, but we'll see you next week, and we're going to go ahead and start with the after party.
You've been listening to the Beyond Bitcoin Whaletank. As a reminder, our Whaletank Hangouts start every Friday at 3 p.m. Universal Time. Be sure to follow the Beyond Bitcoin tag on Steemit, as well as our Hangout host Official Fuzzy for the latest Whaletank updates.